Queen Vlaakith. Skra!
You are a Sherlock, and still you speak my name.
I've seen the captive Orpheus with my own eyes. Spoken to Shestil Kithrak Voss. You lied to us. Enslaved us.
The betrayer Voss lies!
You have disobeyed your father's wishes one time too many. Another will embrace what you have rejected. Lord Baal shall have but one chosen.
Elkor, Duktak, Slayer. There are many names for you, my love. Yours is a heritage of murder. It cannot be ignored or evaded. You will either kill or be killed.
Have you lost your nerve, my blood-starved sibling? Oh, did I mangle your skull too terribly?
So Baal's chosen is a doppelganger. I should not be surprised. She simply wants to make us feel hunted, isolated.
It's not enough. We have a gallery of villains to look out for, but now we could be infiltrated by a shape changer? I can't even tell if any of you are acting strange because you've been replaced, or because this group is full of weirdos.
I have an idea. Something I've wanted to do for a while. Just wait until the others are asleep, then come with me. There's a place we can go. Down the coast a little. This will do. Take off your clothes. Oh, hells, that's cold!
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cinderellimouse and we're back with Baldur's Gate 3. Now, in the last episode, Dirge was kind of being terrorised by Orin, who is a shapeshifter, and yeah, it's making everybody feel a little bit unsettled. He's also started to confess to everybody that he is the son of Baal, the god of murder, so everybody's taking it fairly well. I feel like everybody trusts him enough at this point to kind of know that he's trying to fight the urge, and they've all got their demons, you know, and by demons I mean gods that they're fighting in some way, shape or form. So, speaking of which, Lae'zel in the last episode as well had a little visit from the Lich Queen Vlaakith, who is like the ruler of the Githyanki. And we know that she is feeling very, very threatened by the person inside the Astral Prism, who is Orpheus, the contender for the Githyanki throne. So, yeah, Vlaakith was very angry. She definitely needed a Snickers. And, yeah, basically threatened Lae'zel quite a lot. And Lae'zel was like, nah, bish, I'm coming for you. So let's see how she's doing. We're going to get a tiny bit of repeating dialogue. Just skip forward a sec if you don't want that. But I want to kind of get everybody's reaction to that because we haven't done that yet.
I'm listening.
Okay, hi. I thought you were going to say something about... oh, here we go. We should talk about Vlaakith's visit to camp.
It is done. There is no going back. As long as the Undying Queen reigns, I am never to soar unbound over the astral sea, never to cross the one in the void. As it should be. Better a short life built on truth than immortality woven of lies. Better to unite the Githyanki under a prince who would free their minds and honor their bodies. So why do I feel so bitter?
Okay, so Dirge did not pass this check. He just said, you have a good reason to hate her. But let's see if Cordia, being a little tiny bit more empathetic and used to kind of talking to people than Dirge, let's see if we can figure out, consider Lae'zel's past and present. What is the true source of her resentment? This one's better than wisdom, so this is the one I'm going for. Let's see if we can get a little bonus. Guidance. Give me guidance. Speaking of give me guidance, my eldest has drawn me a little bit of art for this. It's like a little cat giving guidance to a mouse. So I'm gonna try and figure out like how to do merch, and yeah, like, and put my my child's art, which I paid for, yeah. So if you guys want to kind of like support the channel, watch out for my little bit of merch. Maybe we can get some little cups that say give me guidance. I think that'll be really cute. So if you want to support the channel, watch out for that. Anyway, or just give me guidance. Here we go. I didn't do guidance. It's okay. It's all right. Nice, 23. Phew.
Vlaakith has upended Lae'zel's whole existence. Everything she knew to be true, every plan and aspiration she ever held has been painfully ripped away.
Baby girl, no.
Lae'zel's bitterness is born of sadness. She is mourning the loss of the person she once was, and can never be again.
Like, she used to have, like, direction in life, right? She knew who she was, she'd had her training, she believed all the lore and like the propaganda that she'd been given, and she was very straightforward, she was very direct, she had a plan, she knew what to do in an emergency, and then she was totally betrayed and everything was a lie. So yeah, she's gone from feeling very sure of herself to feeling very like she has a plan, she wants to free Orpheus, but she's kind of feeling very lost and alone in the world. Well, I mean, not alone, she has us, you know, we're her backbone in this situation. You're grieving the future you'll never have. Vlaakith took everything from you.
How well you've come to know me. But in truth, she didn't take everything. I have what I have gathered for myself. I'm more to a new regent, a new land, and new allies. Vlaakith cannot unmake she who no longer exists. And so, from the old battle cries is birthed another. Shma Salar Orpheus, Ma Stilna Forgin in Yeri. Orpheus's will above all. May the comet blaze my path forward.
Yeah, so she's still a little bit pro Orpheus. We kind of said the top one with Dirge, so I don't want to have too much like repetitive storyline, but I thought that was like a good little catch up. So I'm gonna leave and we're gonna go and see what everybody else thinks about this. Cordia's a little bit worried because she's like, you still sound a little bit culty to me. Like, maybe you need to like think for yourself a little bit here, you know, ask what you want, ask what your body wants, stop pledging yourself to other people's causes all the time. But she's very young, like Lae'zel. She's one of the youngest members of the group, and I think that shows in a way, kind of like when teenagers get really into a pop star and like they will defend that pop star in everything that they do, even though they're clearly problematic. It's like that kind of thing. Okay, Will, what do you think about Vlaakith, Will?
Vlaakith's a fearsome one, the sort it's hard to say no to. But Lae'zel said it anyway, to her immense credit. She's choosing truth. She's choosing freedom. For her, for Orpheus, for the Githyanki people. I wish I knew a good Githyanki cheer to celebrate the occasion, but the only gift phrases I've picked up are the sweary sort.
I mean, I could try, like, Orpheus, Shah, Vlaakith, Pasha. I don't know, totally made it up. I'm sorry if there's any Githyanki watching. I didn't mean to offend your culture. Like, what do we want to say now? Yeah, let's go. We're good. And Halsin. I'm sure he's got something to say about Vlaakith.
Always at your side.
So, it seems that Vlaakith is Lae'zel's queen no longer. That took no small amount of backbone.
Should we ask about Thaniel? Have you heard from Thaniel since we moved on?
I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well. And Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves.
Oh, I would love that. Okay. can't tell if flirting or not. Halcyon. Who else then? Let's talk to... Hello, Dirge. Should we give Dirge a big hug? He deserves a hug. He's going through a lot. Let's give him the Halcyon hug. This is a mod. It's the Hugs mod by Cerberry. If you're interested, I got it from Nexus. But I like having my player characters be able to interact a little bit, even if it's just a big hug. And even if her face is like crammed into those like bony bits of armour. Okay, I'd like to talk to Karlach, please, Dirge. Would you just step aside?
Damn! It can't have been easy for Lae'zel to stand up to Vlaakith like that. But there's nothing that woman can't do.
I definitely ship all the girls in the camp together. Okay. Like, I love that. I love that she respects, like, her strength and, like, confidence. Do you hear her?
We just played host to an undying queen. Oh, and that's without our fine silverware. Lae'zel has courage turning her back on a lifetime's belief. As for us, best we stay out of interplanar politics, I think. Orpheus is on his own. But should Great Vlaakith come to settle a score with Lae'zel, well, I might be convinced to kill her. Undying or not. She was very loud.
All right, Grandma. She was very loud. Yeah, if you say no to someone and they scream at you because you're not doing what they want you to do, that's not a great relationship. You're going to want to take a step back from that relationship. You know, whoever they are to you, that is not... It's a very toddler-like way to behave, right? Isn't it? It's like, if I'm not getting what I want and my response is to like yell at you and be mean, it's like a 2-year-old having a tantrum. It's like, grow up, you're a grown-ass woman, Vlaakith. Chill your beans. It's aggressive, like, it's bullying. It's not a good way to behave. Okay. You get more Githyanki with honey than you do vinegar, Vlaakith. Astarion.
So, Lae'zel's finally seen the light and turned on her mistress. It took a little time, but she got there. Though it's not over yet. Masters rarely let their slaves go without a fight.
Yeah, we're up for it. I've got Jaheira. Jaheira's like ready for it, so I think we'll be okay. I believe Jaheira has fought gods in the past. I don't know. I've still not played the original games, like beyond like the initial bit of Baldur's Gate 1, which I do want to stream at some point. It's just like finding the time. There's so many good games out at the moment. So currently I've got not True Colours, Lost Records, which is like a Don't Nod game. So it's like what are they called? Oh my goodness. Life is Strange. It's like the same type of game of Life is Strange. I've got like Tell Me Why and Twin Mirror on my channel, which is all by the same company. And yeah, I'm doing Lost Records now, which I've been waiting so long for that game to come out, and like finally, like it's fully released and it was on discount, and I was like, now is my time. And so go and check that out if you're interested in like the more storytelling aspect of games. It's very chill. It's got like quite a calm pace, but it has this sense of like impending scariness. Like there's stuff about like foreshadowing for like Wendigo, and like I don't know, it's got like impending creepy vibes, which I love. That kind of like slow build thriller type feel to games. Anyway, Shadowheart.
Something the matter? I should hope not, after the time we spent together. My spirits are thoroughly lifted.
Oh yeah, about that. So in the last video, Shadowheart had a little swimming lesson, and we got quite close and quite wet, literally. I did want to talk to you about that, as it so happens.
Oh? Not feeling any regrets, I hope?
Not in the slightest. I like this one. I just remember you'll need plenty of practice if you were to become an accomplished swimmer. I mean, it sounds ever so slightly creepy, so I'm going to go for the top one, which I think is more upfront and more her. Not in the slightest. It was wonderful.
I'm glad. I feel the same way. Though I'm still finding sand in my hair. I wonder what the others will think of that.
Yes, I'm finding sand in my butt crack, but I don't think anyone else has noticed. They will naturally assume that we snuck away to make sand castles in the middle of the night.
But of course they will. I hope we'll have more opportunities to slip away. And make sandcastles.
I love that. I do romance Shadowheart a lot. I've done so many playthroughs of this game kind of off camera. I'm always playing it. And Shadowheart is just, I don't know, it's mysterious softy. I love her so much. Okay, I don't think we need to say anything. Actually, do you know what? I want a kiss.
Of course.
May I have a kiss?
Just the one?
Not the shoulder kiss. Don't do the shoulder kiss. I don't like that one. Oh, god damn it. Why is it always the shoulder kiss? If I do it off camera, I don't get the shoulder kiss. It just... God's sake, Shadowheart. I'm going to go again. Oh, I saw a bit of tongue there. I didn't... There's one or two things that are a step too far, you know. Turn it into an entirely different type of game. Speaking of which, there might be something coming up later. Okay, let's try again. May I have a kiss?
Well, don't stand in ceremony. Come here.
Better kiss. Normal kiss, Shadowheart. This is cute, a little coquettish. Oh. Love them. Okay, turn to other matters. I'm actually going to talk to her again because I don't think she said the Blackith thing, and I think she might have pending dialogue for that.
I didn't think I'd live to see the day when Lae'zel turned her back on Vlaakith. But all things considered, good for her.
Can relate, hey, about the Shah thing? Yeah, about turning your back on goddesses. Gale! How are you? Are you still mooning over Mystra?
Glad to see I'm not the only one on the wrong side of an omnipotent authority figure. Lae'zel did well to break free of Vlaakith's manipulations, though I doubt Vlaakith will let such insubordination go unpunished.
Yeah, something about senses punishment, I don't know. And Minty, Minthara.
If our traveling companions continue to make poor choices, we will soon have every god in this plane and the next hunting us. Lae'zel risks everything with her childish rebellion.
Again, not wrong. She's thinking very logically. She's thinking in terms of power, allies, and making a enemy out of a very powerful Lich Queen. Perhaps wasn't our greatest power move, but I don't know. I like that she calls her a child as well. She's like, that was a childish thing to do. She should think about the greatest strategy. No, listen. Do we want to say the Orin thing? I don't know why we've got this dirge response. Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah. She's kind of like, whoa, Minthara. You want edge? Orin's influence, I assume? Again, she has history with Orin.
I am not on edge. I am alert, as you should be too. Orin could be anywhere. Could be anyone.
Oh, failed the insight check. Should we say, what's to say you're not Orin right now? Like teasing her a bit.
You see through my Minthara mask, pretty little flesh thing.
Dirge?
A joke. I am no more Orin than you are. If she is watching, and she may well be, she will delight in seeing suspicion spread among us so quickly. We cannot let that happen. We need to watch over each other, now more than ever.
Okay, Minthara. Auntie Minthara. Okay, so I love that though. That was like a moment of playfulness from her. That was like a very rare moment of her letting that like tenseness go. That was really cute actually. Okay, Dirge, time to level up, but I don't want to do a straightforward level up. I want him to change his original base class. So originally Dirge is a sorcerer. When you first get him in, I was going to say cast, like creator sim. When you first get him in the character creator, he's a sorcerer, but he's like a, oh, is he like a storm sorcerer? Yeah. This is like storm sorcerer, right? And I feel like I want him to be the new one that came with patch 8, so I'm going to respec the
Thy wheel of fate turns ever to the dark. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection instead?
Oh, this is interesting. Do you remember, because instead of killing Alfera, we killed Quill when he kind of like went on a rampage in the middle of the night and he didn't know what he was doing. So we've actually got Quill with us still. She's in the chest. We're going to take her to Baldur's Gate and put her to rest there because that was like her dying wish. Kind of like the albatross on his back. So I didn't mean to kill Quill. Please, bring her back.
The bard's death is a weight for thine own conscience to bear. She will be left to the peace of eternity, where the urge shall seek her no more.
Okay. Can you help me change my class?
As thou desire.
I have got a mod to do this automatically, but I feel like I should do that. I should pay the gold. I should do it the proper way. Anyway, so we're going to go sorcerer again. Same base class. But we get some of these interesting new cantrips now, which suit him more because I really like him doing like the whole necromancy thing. So I'm gonna keep him as like, because he's a white dragonborn, he has some like frost stuff anyway. So I want to continue the theme of him having like natural cold abilities from being a dragonborn. So I'm going to give him what's it called, Ray of Frost, but then I want to go for things like bursting sinew, necromancy cantrip, just because it might be fun to play around with these things. And I'm also going to go for bone chill because that's also necromancy, and then I have a choice for like one more thing to do. I love fireball, I love shocking grass, but they don't feel thematic to his character, and I really want to do things that feel thematic and also will help us in the future. So I think I'm going to go for there's quite a few that are kind of good ones, but I think I'm actually going to go for, again with the idea of like helping us out in the future, I think I'm going to go with Blade Ward, which is a cantrip, and it says you only take half the damage from bludgeoning, piercing and slashing attacks. Now Orin seems to, she always carries that knife around, right, that dagger, so I'm going to say that if we are going up against Orin in the future, having resistance to kind of like knife attacks is probably a good thing. We can maybe like do it before we go into battle or dialogue with her, so I'm going to go for that. And then I'm going to change the subclass to Shadow Magic. So instead of Storm Sorcery, which means he can fly, we don't use that very much as a bonus action. I'm going to go for Shadow Magic. Now this gives us superior dark vision, which means we can see in the dark up to 24 meters, which is going to be helpful when we're just kind of like exploring dark places. But the real thing I'm interested in here is Strength of the Grave. Now I think we have an item that allows us to do this, but it takes up an item slot that could be used for something else. So having this on Dirge naturally is gonna be, it's just like having insurance, right, for if the worst was to happen. So Strength of the Grave, if you reach 0 hit points, you regain 1 instead of becoming downed. So basically we saw this happen when we were in the jail cell under Moonrise. I hit someone and they went down and they popped back up again, and I was like, what just happened? And it's because they had this. So yeah, I think that's going to be really, really cool. I think this is going to be great as well if any of you are doing like solo runs, you know, where it's like solo honor mode, and you know, if you die, if you get downed, there's nothing you can do to help yourself get back up. It's kind of like that person's just gonna keep attacking you. And so yeah, to be able to actually get your person back up and have that second chance, I think is like literally a game saver. So I'm going to take that. Let me just double check that the cantrips haven't changed, they're the same. And then spells, again I'm going to stick with Ice Knife because it's thematic to his character, his ancestry. And then again, I think I'm going to go with something that's like protection, and I think I'm going to go with shield. It says when you, I don't really use this very often, but it's a reaction, so it does use a spell slot, but He's not really much of a spellcaster anyway. I feel like he's going to have those spell slots available. And it says, when you are about to be hit by an enemy, increase your armor class by 5. So they're less likely to land a hit on you, and you take no damage from magic missile. So I feel like that again could just give him like a bit of a saving edge. So I think that's what I'm going to take. I also, things like Fog Cloud could also be handy, but I think I'm good with that. Let me check his abilities, because I want to give him kind of something similar to his original ability. So I've got my notes here. I want him to have high charisma, but I'm going to have it 16. There's no point in having odd numbers, because there's no difference to your player between 16 and 17 unless you're kind of like taking something else to get up a level. Always think in terms of like even numbers when you're doing ability points. So I'm going to have 16 charisma, wisdom and intelligence. Like he needs, right, let me explain. He needs charisma. It's his main ability because he's a sorcerer, and sorcerers use charisma to do their spells. He's not normally going to be casting spells, because I'm going to take a lot of other subclasses. But I'm going to be taking fighter, and I'm going to be taking rogue. So they need strength and they need dexterity. So anything else I can more or less dump. So I'm keeping charisma for his sorcery stuff. I'm dumping wisdom. I'm dumping intelligence. Literally, we know that canonically, like Orin literally mangled his brain. So yeah, he's not the smartest guy. Tactical, but not like intelligent. Like he's not like book smart, you know. And then like wisdom's more for like clerics or druids. Constitution, I want to keep that high, but I'm gonna take it down a notch. You will see this affects his health points. So it's not great to lose that, but again, I want to really maximize the damage that we're doing. So hopefully we're not going to need so much constitution, because we're going to take the other people out before they land too many hits on us. So I want to bump up dexterity. I'm going to use the +1 for this, and I'm going to bump this to 16, and then I'm going to dump all my remaining ability points into strength. Now, the higher you get, the more ability points it costs. So we're not going to get 8 plus 7, but let's see what we get out of this. 14 strength, so that is decent. I'm happy with that. Let's check our skill proficiencies. Persuasion's really good. I'm going to stick with that. We could take deception, but I feel like he's more intimidation. I really like insight. Yeah, I'm going to take off Arcana. I'm going to give him insight, because you do a lot of insight checks in dialogue. So persuasion and insight are going to help him in dialogue. Confirm. Okay, so that is just his base class change. So now he's back down to level 1. So I need to like reapply all the other levels that we like already gave him. So hopefully I'm going to do the same that I originally gave him, but this is going to be like my dirge build going forward. So we've got the shadow magic, which I think is really fun because it gives us all these like this new ability. And then yeah, let's level up. Okay, so I'm going to do, let me check my notes, I'm going to do 5 in fighter. 5 in fighter gets me the extra attack, so that's going to be super duper helpful for if he's doing any kind of like melee fighting. So let's go in fighter. I want 2 weapon fighting because he uses 2 weapons, and this means he adds his ability modifier to the damage of the attack. You can see that is strength. His strength ability modifier is currently at +2, so that is kind of why I'm going for that. I could also go for archery because he does a lot of like ranged sneak attacks, but it's just +2. So if I were to like, archery's stuck at sorry, skip forward if you don't like this bit. Archery is stuck at a +2 and it's only for my archery attacks, where if I do 2 weapon fighting, it's my offhand weapon, which I'm not going to use that much, but I could potentially bump this up through equipment or like extra ability points down the road. So this is, I think, the better option. I don't know, maybe archery is better. I'm taking 2 weapon fighting. Okay, here we go. Fighter level 2 gets me the action surge, which is an extra attack. Okay, now we get our fighter subclasses. The new one that was added is Arcane Archer, which again could be really cool because he does really like his ranged weapon attacks. It gives you Arcane Arrow, which gives you Arcane Shot, but I am concentrating on doing crits. I really want to stack those critical hits with Dirge because again we're kind of maximizing damage. So I'm going to go with Champion, which gives me improved critical hit. The number you roll to do a critical hit is reduced by 1. So again, if you're not sure what that is, to do a critical hit you have to roll a d20 and get a 20, and so that's what is considered a critical hit. Every time you get the improved critical hit, it stacks. So say I have 3 of these from different abilities or from items, it means that I'm reducing what I need to roll a critical hit by 1. So I could roll a 19, an 18, a 17, and all those numbers are going to be a critical hit. Greatly improves my chances of rolling those crits, which is a lot of damage. So I'm going to really lean into that a lot for Dirge. Okay, so fighter again, and I'm going to be taking Savage Attacker, which says that when making melee weapon attacks, so knives, you roll your damage die twice and use the highest result. So you're basically attacking with advantage every time that you use those daggers, and it's your damage dice. So I could roll a 1 damage, which just does 1 hit point off that other person, or I could roll a 20, right? But if I'm rolling 2 dice and taking the highest result, I'm doing more damage. Hopefully this is making sense. Sorry to those of you who are like D&D pros and you're like, you're over explaining, move on. You're probably thinking, oh god, I would have done something different as well. Okay, here we go. So fighter level 5 is the extra attack. So yeah, he basically gets 2 attacks per turn, and with the action surge that can really stack up. And he has some things from other like classes as well which give him those extra attacks, so it's all looking really good. Here we go. This time I'm going to go and I'm not going to take any more in fighter. I'm going to switch over to rogue, and for my abilities I'm going to keep with the really high sleight of hand just in case Astarion isn't with us. It gives me that really massive boost to kind of like lock picking or stealing from people, so I really like that. I want to keep that on him. But here I'm going to switch out persuasion to intimidation, just because Cordia is more persuasive and he tends to do intimidation more. I feel like it's more on brand for him, and that is what I'm taking. Okay, so here for rogue level 2, no choices to make, but it does mean we can hide as a bonus action. Really love that. Or dash as a bonus action. Very helpful to rogues. Here we go. Rogue level 3 is where it's at. So this is where we get to choose our subclass. The new one is Swashbuckler, so if you're playing with a pirate character, that could be really fun for you. Rakish Audacity, you get a +2 to initiative roll, so you're much more likely to roll and kind of like go first in a fight. And Fancy Footwork, which means you're like, I don't know, you can read that if you want to, but we are going for Assassin because it's on brand for, I don't know, a child of Baal, which gives him the initiative, your deadliest against unprepared enemies. So anyone who's not taken a turn yet when we go into combat, we have advantage against, which means that as well as having it on my weapons all the time, I also get it on my ranged attacks. It gives us ambush, so any successful attack roll against a surprise creature is a critical hit, again with the crits. And also Assassin's Clarity. Quick as an alley cat in a rain dark city, you immediately restore your action and bonus action at the start of combat. Basically these things together mean that I can initiate combat with a ranged attack and then immediately get my attack back. So I can take lots of attacks before anyone else gets a chance. And if I surprise them, I'm doing extra damage. So I need to initiate combat a lot of the time through just surprising them. But yeah, that works really well for Dirge. I always take that for Dirge. Alright, at this point, what are we up to here? So we're up to level 10. This is the last level we can take at this point. This is kind of where we're up to. I am going to switch out again. And now I don't normally like to allow for more than 3 subclasses. I love multi-classing because I think it creates more interesting characters and you can really kind of like master, you know, like overmax your characters. But normally I would limit it to 3. But with it being Dirge, I feel like I want to do something else. And I want to go go for Warlock. Now this might not make a huge amount of sense because what I want to do is go for the Hexblade, which again is a new subclass added with patch 8. I love the Hexblade. It's I'm obsessed with the Raven Queen, one of my favorite deities in D&D. I think, you know, you can do some really interesting stuff there, and the Hexblade is normally they normally have the Raven Queen as like patron. Very, very cool subclass. I was really excited. Like, as soon as they announced that they were adding new subclasses, I went and looked specifically to see what they'd added for Warlock, and it was the Hexblade, and I was so excited because that's what I wanted. So yeah, they're kind of almost like a paladin, right? They're all to do with like sword fighting. Yeah, they're really, really cool as a like to play in D&D. Sorry guys, I'm such a nerd. And then what I'm interested in here for Dirge, so what I'm going to say is, it says, you have made your pact with a mysterious entity from the Shadowfell, a force that manifests in sentient magic weapons carved from the stuff of shadow. Now, we can either say that because he went through Act 2 and he was going through the Shadow Curse lands and he did a quest to help out a Shader Kai, we could say that his patron is like a standoffish Raven Queen, or just the energy of the Shadowfell and that shadow magic has kind of stuck to him because he spent so much time in the Shadow Curse lands. Or we could say that it is Withers, like Withers is his patron. I like this for storytelling reasons because Withers is kind of like hanging out, assisting us all along this journey, and he's a lich, so the idea of like, I don't know, I associate the Shadowfell with kind of like the death and the afterlife. It's like where you go when you're downed, and so I really like the idea of Withers being his patron, if you guys are happy with that. Even though it doesn't make 100% sense, I think for storytelling, like, we're going to have a little bit of wriggle room there. So yeah, it's basically like Withers is like, I want you to defeat Baal, go. I will give you extra gifts. That's what I'm going to say. So yeah, the thing that I want a Hexblade for though is this thing here, Bind Hexed Weapon. Bind to your main, it's basically the same thing that Will has, like Bind Weapon, but it's like a slight alternative. Bind your main hand weapon. Its damage becomes magical. You cannot drop it or throw it, and you become proficient with it if you weren't already. When you attack with this weapon, there is a chance that Hexblade's curse will be applied to the target. It uses his charisma modifier, which you can see is really, really high. So I really, really like this. Yeah, I just feel like it's going to be good. But yeah, let me have a look here. Hexblade's curse. Cursed by a Hexblade Warlock. The Warlock who cursed this entity adds their proficiency bonus to the damage roll against them. The number they need to roll a critical hit while attacking this entity is reduced by 1. So if I hit someone, they get hexed, and then I hit them again, I'm rolling crits on them. And it doesn't have to be my main hand weapon. I could use any weapon, and as long as they've got that condition, I'm going to be rolling better critical hits. So he's going to be rolling critical hits like when he rolls a 5, basically, Dirge, because I'm stacking so many of these things. And he also gets Hexblade Curse, which again is, I think I can apply it as a bonus action even if I'm not up close. So I could shoot an arrow to initiate combat, apply Hexblade's Curse as a bonus action, and then every time I do an attack, I'm rolling with that bonus on critical hits. It's going to be epic, guys. Trust me. And then proficiency with certain things. Yeah, cool. I also get more cantrips, and then I'm going to take another calm down, too excited. Another necromancy cantrip. I'm going to take Toll of the Dead, which does 2d6 necrotic damage. When I've played with this off camera, I'm not really noticing, it's not one of my best spells, but because it's thematic, I like it for Dirge. And then we've got a couple of other things we could take. Minor Illusion could come in handy, I think. Mage Hand's handy. I love Eldritch Blast, Booming Blade. I think again, going with this idea of like how much damage can I do, I feel like I want to take Booming Blade. What did I put in my notes? Yeah, I did put Booming Blade in my notes. Yeah, just based on damage alone, I think I'm going to take that. Okay, and then my spells. Oh, I don't know what to take. this is hard because there's so many good ones. I think I might take Hex again because it can be done as a bonus action. I like bonus actions. And then we get some really good stuff. I love Hellish Rebuke, but I don't think it makes sense because he's like a white dragonborn and he's all about cold damage, that he's doing 2 to 20 fire damage. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. However, we could take Armor of Agathis, which means he does 5 cold damage to any creature that hits you with a melee attack. That could be good. Is my light flickering? Are you okay, light? Sorry if you're noticing my light flickering. But Arms of Hadar, because it's necrotic damage, feels appropriate. I'm going to just sort out my light. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry about this. Okay, hopefully it's done with whatever it was doing. It prevents targets from using reactions. And it can do 2d12 damage. It's an action. I don't know whether I'd do it. The thing is, I don't think I'm going to use Arms of Hadar. But I think I will use Armor of Agathis. So I think I'm going to take that. I don't know. There's so many good ones. Okay, I'm going to accept. We can switch it out as well if we do leveling up. So, but I think I'm good for now. I think I've got what I wanted out of that. Okay, let's quickly level up everybody else. So Shadowheart's always easy. I just level her up as a cleric. It does mean she gets a few extra things. Maybe Toll of the Dead as well for her could be fun to play around with. And then, yeah, Cure Wounds. I think instead of Cure Wounds, I'm going to take Mass Cure Wounds and just leave everything else more or less as we've got it. Except, in my first 2 playthroughs, I themed Shadowheart to do all the necromancy stuff. So he's like, I'm doing something different with her now. Minthara already has extra attack as a paladin, so there's no point taking this because it doesn't stack. So I'm going to switch back to paladin for her. And yeah, I think I'm going to take off Compelled Duel. Oh, what she gets from this level is Aura of Protection. Now, I believe this is really, really good. I don't recall using it very much in the past, but it says you and any nearby allies gain a +2 bonus to saving throws. So anyone around her is getting a +2 to saving throws, which actually could be really, really good. And the aura disappears if you fall unconscious. I have no intention of letting my queen go unconscious. I'm going to take off Compelled Duel because I just don't use it very much, and I'm going to give her Brandy Smite because I do like that spell, I do use it, and that's more or less Minthara done. I'm so explainy. Some of you have totally skipped this. I love this. I watch videos by like Spud the King and Boosh, and like creators like that who do a lot of like OP builds. So I really, really enjoy watching kind of like the different subclass things and the explanation of why, because when I originally was getting into D&D and like Baldur's Gate and things like that, I wouldn't always understand something just from reading it. So sometimes having someone explain it and like see it in action makes more sense to me. So I love videos like this, but again, different strokes for different folks. Again, Gale, we're just maxing him as wizard because we want those high level spells. What should I do with him though? I think maybe Minor Illusion. I do like that for Gale. Could come in handy for distracting people. And then again, because I'm learning from spell scrolls, I don't massively need any of these. Cloud Kill's really good, but I don't feel like it suits him. He's not a poison damage person. Banishment's quite fun. I might go Banishment. Maybe Arcane Lock? Have I got anything in my notes? Shield and whatevs. Apparently I wanted shield for him as well. There's no point because now he's leveled up as a wizard. He has improved abjuration. Every time you take a short rest, the intensity of your arcane ward increases. So I don't know if he needs that necessarily. I like banishment. I think arcane lock could come in handy. You know, to lock a door so people can't get to us. Maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. I don't know. And then prepare spells is pretty much staying the same. I'm going to take off Witch Bolt and apply Conjure Elemental because I really like that spell. And that is pretty much it. Lae'zel. Okay, Lae'zel, leveling her up as a fighter. She gets Indomitable. kind of tempted to lean into monk just because, like, her dexterity sucks. I know this, but I like the idea of her being inspired by, you know, the monks that were trying to, that were in the astral prism, and they were all like flippy dippy monkish. They were like really strong fighters. I feel like she's kind of inspired by that, so she wants to lean into the more astral, metaphysical version of being a Githyanki. So I think I might level her up in monk. I think it's more interesting. Is it? Do you want fighter? Does she get some really good stuff? I haven't decided with Lae'zel. We're not taking her out today anyway. I'm going to leave her in camp, so I'm going to have a bit more of a think about Lae'zel. And we'll see in the next episode what we want to do with her. But what I do want to do today is also respec Karlach, because I want her to be the giant barbarian. So I'm going to respec Karlach. In the last episode, I think I took like an extra level of fighter, and it doesn't really do much for her. And so I feel like it was a waste. Where if I respec and do barbarian, and we get that kind of like giant form, I think that's going to be more fun.
Ah, another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need.
Listen,
of
I
my
just
services.
want to help me change my class.
As thou desire.
Okay. So she's going to be, again, pretty similar. I'm going to do this quickly, guys. I'm going to move on quite fast. I'm going to take Barbarian because that's what she originally had. I'm just going to check that she gets her original things here as well. Actually, do you know what? Maybe I want to change this a little bit. She doesn't need Charisma. I'm going to take off the Charisma. And she doesn't need, that's not her specs. I don't know what her specs are. She doesn't need Charisma. She doesn't need Intelligence. She doesn't really need Wisdom. I think I'm just going to really, really put a lot of Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution into Karlach right now. So Dexterity, we'll bump that up a little bit. Constitution is going to give her a ton of hit points and make her more tanky. Dexterity means she can like dodge things more easily. I can't go any higher on strength. I know it said don't do odd numbers, so maybe I actually want to just take one off and put it into... Oh, it won't let me. I can possibly bump up strength and dexterity through equipment as well. Like if it's like this armor gives her +1 to strength, that'll give her 18 strength. And the same with dexterity. So I think that's going to be quite fun for Karlach. Okay, next up, what do I want to give her here? Intimidation for sure. And then let's give her animal handling. I feel like she'd be good with animals. That's fine. Okay, that is Karlach. All right, and now I can level her up again. I'm sorry that this is so fluffy. Again, feel free to skip forward to if you don't like the leveling. But again, I don't want to do it off camera because some of you might want to see it. So, okay, I'm going to do one into Monk because, again, I really, really like Flurry of Blows. I think that's a really fun attack, especially for Karlach because she just, I don't know. She can do a lot of damage as a bonus action. I really like it. Okay, next up, I'm going to do 6 into Fighter. So let me go to Fighter. We're going to take the fighting style Great Weapon Fighting for her because she has that great weapon on her back. It's her style. Again, this is pretty much how I did it before. So Fighter level 2 gets her Action Surge. Fighter level 3 means I take the subclass. Again, I like the crits, so I'm going for Champion. I like Battle Master as well because you get all those like cool moves. But yeah, just going in with Champion for her. Level 4 means she can take a feat. I really like Great Weapon Master for her because she can do Great Weapon Attack as a bonus action. And here we go, level 5 of Fighter gives her extra attack, which we love this because she gets the 2 attacks per turn. Fighter level 6 does give her a feat. Yeah, I'm going to take that feat. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Savage Attacker again because I love this, because we're doing more damage when we hit. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that at level 6. Now I'm going to switch back into, back into Barbarian at this point. Here we go. Barbarian, we just get Danger Sense and Reckless Attack at this point. And then level 3 is where we get to choose our subclass. Now, there's so many good ones. I do love Berserker for her, but I really want to go for Giant. This is the new subclass. It does mean that we get to play with something new, and I love the idea of her raging and just getting massive. So one thing I really, really like about, I think it's Wildheart, is if you subclasses like the bear type of barbarian, you get resistance to all damage pretty much, and this does the same thing. So it says when you're raging, you increase in size, so we'll have like big Karlach, and it says your damage is doubled on throw attacks, we get resistance to physical damage and advantage on strength attacks and saving throws. So that's quite massive actually, literally, because it's the giant subclass. So I think that could be very, very cool for her. The thing about this is that your rage is impeded when you wear heavy armor. Not you, Lae'zel. Okay, we'll come back to Lae'zel. I'm not neglecting her. She's just hanging out in camp today. We'll take Lae'zel out maybe in the next episode. I don't know. We'll take her out soon. The problem with this is, and the reason why I don't normally level Karlach as a barbarian, even though it is her main class, is because I really like the Helldusk armor on her. But this is heavy armor, and it says that it's gonna impede her rage. So yeah, you can see here rage impeded because she's weighed down by heavy armor. So I feel like we need to switch out her armor into something else, so that she can really, really rage and get the benefits of those things. So we'll be on the lookout for like different armor for her. And to be fair, like I feel a bit bad that she wears Helldusk armor when she's like escaped the hells. So I don't know, we'll see. I like it because it feels like it's themed to her because it's made from infernal metal, but at the same time it's kind of weird. I don't know, we'll see where this goes. The other thing I want to do is switch out her boots. Now we got these bone spike boots that give you brutal leap in the last episode. I love those. They're kind of like an upgraded version of the boots she already has, which basically don't do much. They give her an acrobatics +1 and they give her better jump distance, but this also gives her the better jump distance. So we lose the acrobatics +1, but we get evasive instinct. You have a +1 to armor class and saving throws, so she's going to be harder to hit. She doesn't use a shield anyway, so that's fine. And then it gives her this like brutal leap, which basically means she can like jump and like knock a target prone, which I think could be really fun to play with. So I like this for her. I'm going to add those to her. Now, the Corpse Grinder, I normally always give this to Karlach when I get it, because it does a lot of damage, right? It looks like it does more damage than the Halberd of Vigilance. But if you actually look into it, the Halberd of Vigilance is giving you a +1 to initiative rolls, which could really, really, really be helpful in battle because you're more likely to go before the enemy. And it also gives her advantage on perception ability checks, which is fun. And then it says, when you make an attack roll as a reaction, you make it with advantage. So even though the Corpse Grinder sounds like it does more damage, because like at first glance it does, like when you put everything together, I feel like we're actually going to be able to do more damage with the Halberd of Vigilance, just because it's giving us so many advantages. Like, it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I think it does. So I don't know whether I'm gonna like send this to Minthara, but the thing with this is it's a two-handed weapon, and Minthara has the really cool shield, which gives her a +3 to initiative rolls. So I don't know what to do with that, really. Like, normally it's like one of my favorite weapons, but right now I'm just kind of like, I might just hang on to that. I'm not sure. Maybe she can throw it at people. Maybe she can just lob it at someone. I don't know. It doesn't say it's a thrown weapon, but maybe. Okay, we're heading back to Rivington. The team for today is Cordia, Shadowheart. Now, I do want to be on the lookout for new armor for both Karlach and Shadowheart, because currently, because Shadowheart kind of like you know, she's not a Sharan anymore, so all that really cool Sharan equipment and armor, like, I don't feel is appropriate to use anymore. So she's kind of stuck in this like rare clothing Saloonite robe, but she has like the ability to use like medium armor, so I feel like we want better armor for her. Basically, we're going shopping. I've also got Karlak in her kind of like scary dog privilege armor, keeping everybody safe, basically being the bodyguard of the group for today. And I've got Astarion for, I don't know, just talking through things, charming people, and basically keeping the team safe with his kind of fancy Baldurian ways.
Let's move.
I'm explaining badly. Let's go shopping. Let's go back to Rivington. Okay. I'm going to put my headphones in so I can hear if everybody starts chatting. There is a lot of chatting though. There's so many people. Okay, we're going. This is where like the guy wouldn't let the refugees in his house and he had like the fireworks in his basement. Instead of going right to where the refugees are, we're going to go left today and explore down this way. So can I talk to this guy? Nope. Oh, I can climb on that roof though. That's interesting. I don't want to do that right now. Let's have a look at these posters that are everywhere.
The circus of the last days has returned. See Dryads, Jinn, and Dribbles the Clown back with a new act.
Right, well, maybe we can go and have a circus episode one day. The circus is back there. But I feel like, you know, it's not the time to be going to the circus. We've got Illithid elder brains to fight. So this house here is locked. We're going to have a look in it because, you know, if nobody's using it, maybe... like, it's all boarded up and stuff, right? So if nobody's using it, maybe a refugee family could move in here. There's no point in having like an empty building when there's people who need to be homed. So I'm going to have Astarion come over and lockpick it. You can see the door's white, so nobody's going to kind of tell us off for lockpicking this. It's literally just an abandoned building. So give me guidance. Not that Astarion needs it. Although, having said that, I did roll 2 1s with him when I was doing this off camera. Like, the likelihood of rolling 2 1s, 2 critical fails is crazy. Okay. Here we go. Let's go in and see what the deal is. So, I mean, the fire's on. It doesn't look like it's been long deserted. What's this here? I wish I had my camera mod. Abandoned house chest key. Fair enough. A wardrobe. Nothing too fancy in there. There's some cheese and things, but again, we're kind of leaving things for the refugees. I don't really want to take that.
Swift as my feet
there's a note. Beloved son. I am not waiting around for the absolute cultist to catch me. I'm heading for the tall timber. Look for me at the fishing hole where we caught that gar. It isn't much, but I left you all the gold. I'll manage without it. Now gear up and get out before it's too late. Remember your training and Casteve. Don't drag your feet when you walk. You leave too obvious a trail. Okay, I'm going to leave that because, you know, we want people to be able to, like, follow the trail.
Be wary. This place is trapped.
Oh, the chest is trapped. Interesting. What do we have here? Esteemed reader, so this is from Mingus Etchley, Editor-in-Chief. Esteemed reader, while this journal is no stranger to surprising news from the outermost reaches of our fair land, I must warn that this season's edition contains news some might find, in a word, shocking. It might be that the cult of the Absolute reported by our agents in Eltergard will fade like any other, but reports of alliances between Goblin and Loth-sworn Drow, Troll and Dwagar are a particular cause for alarm. The seriousness of the enclosed report is quite unique in our history. Prior to publication, messengers were sent to localities including Baldur's Gate, Scornoble and Candlekeep. Let us hope these reports are received with the proper gravity for the safety of all. Okay, so yeah, getting some reports there from what is going on. There can be no doubt that the patriarch families of the upper city affect such an air of reserve and respectability because they are all too aware that their fortunes are founded on bloodshed, pillage and exploitation. Sounds like British history. No one speaks now of Cerberry Elton, who founded the Flaming Fist as a ruthless mercenary company that slaughtered and burned for pay along the entire length of the Sword Coast. So the Flaming Fist, who Baldur's Gate now uses to kind of enforce the rule and the law, basically the police force of Baldur's Gate, they used to be just hired mercenaries who did a lot of damage. No one mentions Baron Ilza Bormal and the blood-spattered ingots shipped north from her slave labour mines in the mountains of Arm. The school books do not mention Bongo Sashenstar's bone flotilla that plundered Aster Cove and abducted the port's entire population. So yeah, their wealth and the privileges that Baldur's Gate have are born from a darker past. This book is a crass but very comprehensive guide to mixing drinks. There's a huge amount of virtue placed on the right. I'll let you read that if you want to. It doesn't seem too important. Debatably, maybe you feel differently. The text is brimmed with charming short stories concerning Yolanda, the matriarch, protector and sovereign creator of the halfling species. But here's one. So if you're interested in that, just pause. You can have a read of that. Okay, it is a shame that there's no werewolves, I think, in Baldur's Gate. I think it would have been really cool to play as a werewolf, to play as a Tabassi, I think, you know, Shadekai, vampires, like, to have more, like, races and, like, you know, things like that available, I think would have been really, really cool. Anyway, Astarion, get over here and see what's in this chest. Disarm. Guidance. Give me guidance. Here we go. Cordia. I have to say, my kid, this art has been due for quite some time. My Give Me Guidance art. And it took my kid a while to get around to it. They are doing the GCSEs. And they finally did it. And I was so excited to share it with everybody. And then the Pope died. And I was like, this feels inappropriate now. Maybe I'm going to wait a few days before I announce this. Okay, cool. We did it. We've got the keys, so I guess I'll go ahead and open that. And we've got some money, some thieves' tools, and acid. Do you know what? Needs must. We're taking it. There's no guarantee that the other people will reach this place. And there's people who are in greater need right now. Listen, we need the money to buy equipment to save all these people. And then, you know, like, think greater good. But this house is now open, and hopefully some refugees can now go in here. It'd be nice if we could go and approach some refugees, like a family, and say, hey, go in there. But, yeah, it doesn't give us that option too. But we'll say, for storytelling purposes, that we've left that open. Why is there loads of blood here? What is this about? What is going on here? Do you see all this blood? It's like leaving a trail. It's like there, and then it comes all the way up here, and then it's like on this wall. Okay, I'm gonna follow that in a second. But before I do, I did notice up here, just opposite the house that we went in, there's this like open like blacksmith area that I want to check out.
Intestines throb, blood whispers.
Rivington General.
Rivington General, okay. Hello, sir.
What's up for discussion?
Do you sell weapons and armour?
If you're a customer, go down to the shop. Otherwise, clear off.
That's no way to treat your paying customers, sir. Well, can I just ask, what do you sell?
Well, given this is in fact a blacksmith's, we sell things that need smithing. The shopkeeper can tell you more. Give the lazy sod something to do for once.
Okay, thank you for your help, I think. Right, so do you remember in the last episode we met some shapeshifters who were actually Orin? So there was the guard that was like, we should go and fight all the refugees, and then it turned out it was Orin. And then there was the guy who was like dying, he'd been attacked, and he was Orin as well. When you go around Rivington, depending on the order that you encounter people, multiple people can be Orin, and one of the people who can be Orin is this blacksmith. He seems grumpy, right? But I want to keep him alive and keep watching because you'll see why. I didn't want him to be Orin, which is why I went around and did it the way I did. So I've basically kept him from being killed. What does this sign say?
If you see this sign, that means you are too close to Gildro Angleiron. His work must not be interrupted.
Oops, maybe I should have read the sign first. Okay, he seems a very busy man. I'm sure his work is important. Let's leave him alone. Okay, so we can come in here. Lots of signs.
This shopkeeper would like to remind everyone that Angleiron's crafts are the finest in the realms and worth every copper.
Well, I hope so, because we are doing a bit of shopping today. So there's things that we can like have a look at. Maybe there's stuff we can steal in those. I'm not looking to anger the man. There's a chest. But Cordier's a very good person. I don't know about Astarion.
Welcome to the Rivington General. Browse carefully. The weapons are sharp.
The weapons are sharp, apparently.
Flaming Fist. Please speak to Blaze Portier to avail of a special discount in thanks for your service.
Okay. Wait, what? Blaze Portier. Okay, that's like one of the patriarchs, right? Okay. Flyer advertising the Rivington General. Let's see what kind of stuff they sell. You dream it, we forge it. The greatest ironcraft in Rivington, brought to you by Master Blacksmith Gildro Angleiron. We've got a little bit of that snobbery happening here, haven't we? Experience for yourself the raw strength of Gildro's forge, where molten iron is transformed into timeless creations of breathtaking skill and durability. Buy today and be the envy of every friend and foe alike. Well, we do need to buy some cool stuff, so I've got two people with me who are in the market for some armor.
Hi! Or want a blade? Or a bow? Or a dagger? Or maybe a spear is more your thing?
I'm looking for some
you
armor.
Look like you know how to use a spear. Buy a spear. What'd you say?
I don't really want a spear, actually. You can be rude to her. I don't want to be rude to her. Are you the one that sells the smith's weapons?
Yep, that's me.
He's a bit of a grumpy fellow, isn't he?
On the outside, but he's a softy at heart. Like molten steel. Also, he's a living legend. Do you know he's won Best Smith in Rivington 7 years in a row?
Well, he's...
And he says that if I move enough stock, I might even get to have a go on the anvil.
If you're looking for training, I know a blacksmith who's very nice. He might be willing to share his expertise with you. Like, again, you can be rude. I'm not looking to be rude. Let's see if I can boost your sales figures. Show me what you've got.
Oh, yay!
Okay, so she sells a number of different things. Indeed, she has a pretty decent spear here. But, like, we're not... What does that actually do? Like, multi-attack? We're not in the... We don't need that. What else does she have? Longbows. She's got some smoke powder arrows, which may come in very, very handy. Maybe we'll come back for that. So she has some good stuff. What I'm looking for, again, is some nice armor for my friends. So this bone spike garb could be perfect for Karlach. It says, so it's clothing, which means that it's not going to impede her rage. She's not going to have such a good armor class, but then with all those bonuses that say like she takes less damage, it could be really useful. We can give it a try. We can see what we prefer. But it says slab jaw determination. You gain 15 temporary hit points whenever you rage. So again, like she's going to have more hit points, which hopefully will offset the lack of armor. Exoskeletal endurance. Reduce all incoming damage by 2. When the wearer is struck by a melee attack, the attacker takes 1 piercing damage. I don't know if it's my favourite, but it's what I'm going to take for the time being. And then again, maybe we can find better as we keep exploring. But I think I'm going to take this for Shadowheart. So it's medium armour, which means she can wear it. And it says Elven Chain. She is an elf, right? She's half elf, so I feel like it suits her and her kind of elegant vibe. It says you are considered proficient with this armor while wearing it, and it says the wearer has a plus... She's already proficient with it, doesn't matter. The wearer has a +2 bonus to initiative rolls and advantage on dexterity saving throws. So yeah, like that, I don't know, is just a little bit better than what she currently has, I think. I do like that it gives her the +2 to initiative. That could be really, really useful. The other thing that I want to take is Stalker Gloves. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use these or not, but I figured they kind of suit Dirge. Again, another +1 to initiative rolls, which, again, we love that. Very helpful to Dirge because he gets to do more damage to anyone who hasn't took a turn yet. So the higher up that initiative order is, the more damage he can do. And then it also says your sneak attacks deal an extra 1d4 force damage. He does do a lot of sneak attacks. So Dirge or Astarion, I feel, could benefit from those. There's some other things as well, like there's a cool shield. I don't know, it depends like what you're up to, what you want to get from her, but I think this is what I'm taking. So I'm just going to pay for this, balance off it. It's quite expensive. It's a lot of our money going on this, but it's fine. Yeah, that's...
Want more? Want less? Want to sell? Want to buy? You know where I am. Bye!
Maybe we can sell some stuff and get some money back as well. Maybe that's something I'll do between episodes. But yeah, let's have a look at what this looks like on there. So Shadowheart, let's see what you look like in your new armor. I do actually have to send it to them. So this can go, look, all my money's gone. This can go to Shadowheart. This can go to Karlach. I'll send these over to Astarion. We'll see what we think. So Shadowheart. I just feel like such a sugar mummy in this episode, buying everybody new armor. This is really pretty. I actually really do like it, this colour. I was thinking about changing it to black.
On I go.
Oh, where are you going? No, you don't have to go anywhere, Shadowheart. Yeah, I'm going to change the colour of it. I also need to change the colour of her gloves. So she has some dye in here. She's got Harlequin black and white dye. Let's pop that in there like that. And I don't know, I like black and white for Shadowheart. Oh, what did I just do? I accidentally took her gloves off. Raven gloves, there we go. And then we'll dye those as well, because currently they are not matching the aesthetic. There we go. So Shadowheart is looking a little bit more badass now. Karlach then.
For a good meal.
So I am sad to take the Helldusk armor off. She's going to look stupid because she's got like the Helldusk gloves on, which don't really match. But again, maybe we can find something else for her in the future. This is a really cool design, but I'm gonna they keep running around in the background. I'm gonna change the color of it. I'm not entirely happy with the black and furnace red dye for this outfit, but I like everybody to be kind of thematic, so it's a little bit closer to her normal aesthetic. I feel like I need to dye these things as well on her back. Where are you going? Stop running around. Let's dye the cape as well. There we go. Pretty cool. I think I need to dye the boots.
Not everyone subscribes to what is mine.
I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I don't know why I'm clicking on things in the background. Okay. So, sorry. I think I'm like misclicking. Let me dye the boots. Here we go. I need to be a bit more careful. I'm gonna blame the lack of my camera mod. There we go. So Karlach has had a bit of a makeover. It does mean that her rage is no longer impeded, so we'll see how that goes. We'll play around with it. And then Astarion, do we want you to have these gloves? What has he currently got? Gloves of Thievery. It gives him advantage on sleight of hand checks. I don't know. I'm going to send them to Dirge and we'll have a think about that. Maybe in between episodes. Okay. Where do I want to go now? Probably outside. Thank you. Alright, now I've kitted out my friends. Let's keep exploring. There's so many people. Look, there's another like circus poster here. Hello.
The Absolute Army is on our doorstep. You want to live? Get out of here before it's too late.
Don't worry, I'm going to solve that little problem for you.
The Absolute Army will be here.
Mummy keeps talking about some army, but she won't tell me anything about it. I'm not a baby.
Run for your life, kid. Hide.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Would everyone please stop going on about the Absolute's army? Lord Gortash is going to sort it all out. You'll see.
Lord Gortash is the problem lady. We noticed this well, but I'm not messing with the well just yet. We've got a job to do here today. Ooh, look, here he is himself. Heroic portrait of Gortash.
Lord Enver Gortash, the people's man, the gate's protector.
Propaganda, more like.
Oh, bloody dogs.
Dogs? Oh, look, there's puppies back there. We should go and say hello. What's this here? Mailbox? Nothing in there. Post house pigeon poster. Are you?
This does not bode well.
How do you know Stalemane's dead? Like, how did you know that? So the Emperor was just saying that Stalemane's dead? That's who he was friends with. She was like one of the leaders of Baldur's Gate. Okay, post house pigeon poster. Are you a kindly bird breeder with a love of letters? Or perhaps you live near a park of easily snatchable pigeons? Either way, we at Sword Coast Couriers, to send and to serve, are offering double price for any half-able pigeons you can find. So they're paying 4 times the price, right? Because it's half-able and they're paying double price. Contact Postmaster Arkwright for more information. No, pigeons preferred, but canaries, finches, parrots, or any other household birds are also accepted. Athletic chickens are also negotiable. So they're looking to use birds as like a courier service. God, it's so noisy here. I'm gonna probably have to like turn down the background noise while I'm talking. So this here is, again, wishing I had my camera mod, Sword Coast Couriers.
Sword Coast Couriers.
So, do you remember when we found Scratch? Scratch, his owner had been killed, and we found out that the owner was a courier from Baldur's Gate. I've actually still got the letters in my bag with the intention of like returning them. So, tough letter, not that one. Here we go. So Gonwick, this is the guy who was killed, like Scratch's owner. Be doubly careful on the way back to Baldur's Gate. I've received more reports of attacks on travellers throughout the region. I can't have my best messenger winding up face down in a ditch somewhere. Watch yourself, better late than never, Postmaster General Danzo. So we found the place that Scratch came from, basically, which explains why they've got dogs. And we've got these other letters as well that never got delivered. So I feel like we should go and talk to this person. And kind of give those letters back, that sort of thing.
Ah, a new face. Something to send? Oh, don't be shy.
Okay, I'll be over in a second. Let's have a quick poke around and see what we can find. Employee pay log. The pay slips of all the employees of the Post House Dringo's pay is marked docked 2 copper pieces at Mahaya's request. So it sounds like they're having troubles like delivering everybody's mail. Everybody's sending more mail because of what's going on. They're trying to communicate with their friends and family, and yeah, there's like the postal service is kind of in shambles is what the vibe is here. Post house delivery complaints. A log, missing deliveries turned to the most recent page. Yeah, so they're struggling to deliver things and then people are complaining, but people are being killed. So mildly irked. What else have we got here? Tuition fees would prefer these stay lost. Mystic carrion is one to take note of. Funeral invitations won't be caught dead using such second-rate services again. This one who's like Thirstwell Thamper, Iron Flask. Do you know who my parents are? I swear. The Iron Flask is the mysterious package that we got for the Zentarum in Act 1. Do you remember, like, the Gnolls killed the messengers and we got the quest to kind of, like, go and find the package and we were like, do not open it? That's the Iron Flask. So, interesting that that is being referred to in these parts. Notice any letters marked postmaster shipment inquiry that are found and returned unopened will be appreciated. Okay, so his letters are going missing basically. And here is a collection of postal addresses for notable city folk. Most of the people on this list we will be meeting at some point, so this is kind of like an address list. Let me see, who do I recognise? The Elf Song Tavern, we're going to be going there. Alandra Grey is probably, yeah, we'll probably meet them at some point. Yeah, we'll basically meet everybody on this list, I think. Cora Highbury, Captain Grizzly, Father Larocan. It does say deceased. Open Hand Temple Rivington, so we can go there in the next episode and check out what's going on with that. Fiargo's Pennygood. So yeah, this is like an address book. Larocan, we need to go and see him. He's the person who sent Halcyon after the night song. Yeah, maybe we want to steal this. Can I take this? I don't want to do it right in front of him. Okay, never mind. What's over here? Gortash coronation poster? Lord Gortash to be elevated to Archduke. Grand ceremony to be held in Worms Rock Audience Hall.
Gortash is being named Archduke. Time to pay Worms Rock a visit.
That doesn't sound like a good idea. Baldur's Mouth. Citizens must come first, claims Gortash over refugee rabble. So we know what type of broadsheet this is, right? Absolutely unwelcome, cult offered cold shoulder in the city. So they're basically promoting the idea that all the refugees are absolutists, which is not true. Crack down on crime, crews destables underworld. Steel watch, keep tight grip on crime's throat. So this is in reference to Nine Fingers. Fist Gala celebrates recruiting season. So the Flaming Fist are recruiting, probably because there's unrest. Waterdeep wades through red tape over sending aid. So I guess Waterdeep are struggling to send aid because there's a lot of red tape, so more aid is needed. Meeting meat standards and the common rats. Siege tips. So people are eating rats, that's how bad it is. Edvard Needle, editor-in-chief. So yeah, the situation's not looking great, to be honest. Dispatches ledger. A log of dispatched packages. Turn to the most recent page. And you can kind of see some of the information here as well. Again, foreshadowing, we're probably going to run into quite a lot of this. Refugee letters are going to the Open Hand Temple across the road. Component pouches for Sorcerer's Sundries. Frontline War Report, Duke Ravengard. You see here?
Outraged.
Urgent report for Duke Ravengard. Priority entry. Priority entry. That could come in handy for us. But it's red. I can't just take it. I can't read it. So it's a good thing I've got Astarion with me, is what I'm going to say. Okay, Danzo, hi.
Welcome to Sword Coast Couriers. To send and to serve. Delivery not guaranteed.
Delivery not guaranteed. I'm going to say, wait, delivery not guaranteed?
Well, we've had to change the policy. Hard to send letters by road when there's a rampaging army of fanatics bearing down on you. I'll tell you, it's left me in a right pickle. I've sent what I can by pigeon, but now something's attacking them and all.
Oh no.
Become a postmaster, Danzo. It'll be easy. Nobody mentions having to spend your evenings hunting for pigeon carcasses, do they?
You sense there's more to his anxiety than a few missing letters.
Okay. Level with me sounds very modern. Be truthful with me. What's really going on here?
Oh, well, one of the missing letters is my own correspondence.
Right.
A personal matter, nothing serious. But you can understand if people think I can't even deliver my own letters, I'd be finished.
Ooh, I can track this letter down what any of my expenses paid up front. Cordia would just be generally asking questions. Any idea where the birds went missing?
Not the foggiest. Normally they fly true as an elven arrow. Something nearby is snatching them. I can tell you that much.
I don't know, like, I feel like, excuse me, sorry, I burped. Astorian's like whispering in her ear. So she's like, okay, I can track this letter down, but I'll need my expenses paid up front. See if it works. Oh, I can take advantage, Eagle Splendor. DC is 18, which is quite high. Yeah, let's go ahead and take Bardic Inspiration on this as well. Oh, guys, you meant to give me guidance. Okay, 14, 17, 21. Yeah, we've done it. 26. Nice.
I suppose there's no harm in you taking a look. Here's something to get you started.
Thank you.
Bring me the letter, unopened, and you'll get the rest.
Right. Oh, we got some money back. Nice. We did just go shopping. So I need to tell him as well about, what's his name?
Suppose you've stumbled across those letters yet?
Before I leave, I found a different letter a few days ago. It was on the body of one of your employees.
Gomwick, that's a real shame. Fine courier he was. Stumped how I'll replace him. Most want to get into the city these days, not leave it. We've had to cut our courier services completely.
Okay. Well, I'll go and look for those pigeons then, shall I? I mean, maybe the raven could fly around and take a look. Okay, let's have a quick look around in here as well. We've kind of got the run of the place a little bit. The pigeons in service of the communicators of the city deserve far more renown than which is afforded to them. Take Beaky, for example, a pigeon aged 10, a great-great-great-grandfather and a noble upholder of his tremendous duties. Orange of beak and charcoal of wing, rare is the Baldurian who has not glimpsed the flash of his wing darting hither and thro across our fair city. Beaky has carried Duke's writs, marriage announcements, emergency notices and more when nary a complaint with his cooing beak. Who among us can claim a more stalwart dedication to so important a profession? So the pigeon takes his job seriously. This is not just any old pigeon off the street. Post-housed dog's log. So again, this is where Scratch was originally from. The log of courier hounds is matted with dried saliva and dog hair. Yum. Bolworth, no fleas, lots of knotting though, coat matted, breath smells, big bark still, good boy. Aww. Snee, good girl as always, no coat matting, scratches occasionally, check for fleas later. Scratch, still gone, miss you boy. Oh, maybe Scratch would like to come home. Yeah, some bits and bobs. I don't want to take anything and like anger the postmaster. We are doing a job for him. Let's go upstairs and see where the pigeons are kept. Here we go. Hello, Jeffers Morston.
Pigeons are very sensitive.
Okay.
They can't fly straight if they're disturbed.
I'm not trying to disturb them. I just want to ask them a few questions if that's okay. Let's have a look through and see what's going on here. Any other interesting letters? We can open these. It doesn't say we can't. Dear Lily, Dadders and I can't believe our luck in getting you admitted to Provost as a boarding school student just before this refugee crisis sealed the city gates. It cost 2 arms and a leg, but if it keeps you inside the gates walls until danger is past, it's worth paying whatever we had to pay. Now don't worry about your parents. We're safe enough in Rivington, as long as the Steel Watch is here to protect us, and whatever happens, whatever you hear, don't take it to your head to leave the city. Knowing that you're safe in the academy is what keeps us going every day, and we'll get through this. You know we will. Helms bless and keep you, Lily. Mamas. So, again, just some personal stories about, like, the people and the plight of, like, the personal stories of what is happening in a time of crisis. Petitioner's name here. Oh, so this is, like, a legal document saying why they might decline like someone to be admitted into the city. Petitioner's name here. The Flaming Fist Company regrets to inform you that your request to enter Baldur's Gate has been denied. This is due to check all that apply. So some of the reasons why they might deny entry. Evasive answers to routine questions. So if we're trying to get in, we want to not do these things. Suspected cult affiliation. I mean, suspected, not proven. Like, they could, if they didn't want to let anyone in, they could just say that everybody's suspected to be, like, cult members. Lack of visible means of support. So basically, they're not going to be letting refugees in the city because they suspect all of them of being absolutists and none of them have visible means of support. They're all here with nothing. So, yeah, they're just not going to let them in. Denied petitioners may reapply after a 10-day, but too frequent reapplication is considered harassment and subject to penalty. So if you try and appeal it, they're going to, like, punish you. They're just making it difficult for people, basically. To hiring manager, Steelwatch Foundry. Okay, this could be relevant to us. Greetings, I'm an experienced forge assistant, currently stuck in Rivington, but I expect to get into the city soon. When I do, I hope you'll grant me an interview at your famous foundry, because I'm going to need work, and I'm really good at hammering and, you know, tonging, so he's not experienced. Anyway, don't forget me, I'll be coming around shortly, so you can see if you want to hire me. Enemy Tongs Bookster. So basically people are trying to get work in the city, so they've got a reason and an excuse to get in and a means of supporting themselves. So people are just applying for whatever they can get. Lord something Gist, which means that they could easily be exploited as well. You know, like Minthara was saying, it's kind of like when there's a huge amount of people applying for a small amount of jobs, it means that the people employing can be more picky and like pay less because there's more, it's easier to fill those positions. So to the Honourable Lord Haverford Gist, your reputation as a charitable nobleman is renowned far beyond the walls of Baldur's Gate. Those walls would preserve my family from the rage of the Absolute's cult, could we but gain admittance. So again, somebody else who can't get in. However, the Flaming Fist at the south span of Worm's Crossing are adamant in their refusal to let us in. I beg you to please use your influence to send a message to them allowing our passage. We would owe our undying gratitude, and if you were in need of an experienced scribe, I would be willing to work for the most nominal wages. Exactly, like people are desperate, so they're going to get taken advantage of. We actually had the opportunity to get a pass, like to get like easy entry into the city. Do you remember the woman that was all made of gold coins, Geringoth Thorm? Depending on how you handle that situation, you can get a signed trade visa off her, which means that you get automatic entry into the city. I didn't want to do that. I wanted the struggle. So we have an unsigned trade visa. So we'll kind of see how that plays out for us. But, you know, I've got ways and means. Like cats can get into the city. Okay, Pigeon.
Name and rank, quickly now. There's a war on.
Okay, I love this Pigeon. This genuinely is one of my favourite characters from Baldur's Gate, just as like a random side NPC. And I took this idea for my own campaign because at the time my eldest hadn't got this far in Baldur's Gate, so they didn't like know that she's one of my players. And so I had this group of, I've got a whole thing about like crows and ravens that are kind of like spies for like the Inquisitor in the city kind of thing. And yeah, my player, like they really wanted to talk to all the animals. Like they were a wood elf, so any animal that came along they wanted to use speak with animals on. And so they were trying to befriend these people who were spying on them, and I adopted like this character for one of the crows. And like I just thought it was so good, so I used this in my own campaign. Basically like the commander, he's like a general, like an old general. Also, the voice actor is the same voice actor, spoiler alert, for Cazador, which I think is a fun fact. Okay. Rank, are you in the army?
The army? Pah! Those great clodding dirt snufflers. I am Commander Lightfeather, leader of the finest aerial communication regiment this side of the Chionthar.
Chionthar.
State your purpose, Groundwalker. I don't have all day.
I'm going to say, and we're just going to get straight to the point. I hear some of your officers have gone missing recently. What happened to them?
Damned awful business. Fine flyers, a lot of them. Gone without a trace. Intelligence is in short supply, but we know our enemies flanked us on the west side, not one rooftop away.
Okay.
We're avoiding the whole area. I won't lose one more beak to the blighter. If you pass that way, beware the sign of the featherless wings. From that rooftop, none return.
Okay, so we know where the pigeons are going missing, from the rooftop across from us. Right, very, very well. So thank you, Commander Lightfeather. Can I talk to these other pigeons? Yes.
I've no need of a wing man. Commander Lightfeather will give you your briefing.
Okay, I just thought you might have more information about what we're up against.
A little wet under the wing for our unit. The commander will soon straighten you out.
Okay, thank you for your time. All right, let's... Oh, I didn't mean to click on him. No.
Shh! No talking. You'll frighten the birds.
They don't seem very frightened to me. I think maybe you need some speak with animals potions. I love that though. We found that with Baldur as well when we first met him and he was talking to the bear. The idea of like sometimes people are presuming what the animals are thinking. The dog as well, the one that likes being told they're a good boy and they get all excited about it. Like, you know, the owners, or like if they don't have speak with animals, they're like misinterpreting what the animal's trying to tell them. We can go out here, but I'm trying to get into this yard over here. So let's go back through. I'm going to leave Astarion in here. And we're going to try and get that letter, but I want to kind of like do that when we're on our way out of here, just so we kind of like covered everything we need covering, just in case he gets caught.
When will I get to train the dogs again, Miss Marcia?
When you prove yourself not to be an incompetent idiot.
A bit rude.
Ah, I see. Maybe next 10-day then.
So a little bit of something going on between the two different dogs trainers here. Let's go and talk to the dogs and see if they're happy. Gustav.
I'm under strict orders to speak to no outsiders. I am also forbidden from receiving scratches, scritches, and belly rubs.
Oh, that seems terribly sad. All good dogs deserve scritches, but I guess it's like a working dog thing, you know, like if somebody's got like visual impairment and they have like a guide dog, and they've got the harness on, you're not meant to like pet them. So I guess if they're working, but they're not working right now, so I can't get to this guy. Zola, girl.
Mistress says not to talk to strangers.
Okay, understandable, you are working dogs. Hello. Oyster boy.
Hi.
Why is it called Oyster boy? Hello, do you work here?
Yeah, I'm caring for the courier dogs. Marcia's my boss. She's mean, but Dad says she'll toughen me up.
Oh, you've got one of those boomer or Gen X parents. Yes, I know the type. Well, she seems like a bit of a bully.
She's an educator. She says if somebody doesn't listen, shout louder. And if they still don't listen, fetch the rod.
Right.
Dringo, get back to work. And you, what do you want? This is a private yard.
Maybe I don't want Scratch to come back here if he doesn't get scritches, because he really likes his scritches. You were being awfully harsh to the boy when I arrived.
It's the only way to teach him. He behaves worse than the dogs and makes more of a mess.
Let's see what she says. I think I found one of your dogs. Scratch?
Found him, did you? I can't say I'm surprised. Gomwick never kept him on a tight leash. Bring him here, and I'll give him a once-over for you. Check him for worms and so on.
Oh, yes, please. I'd love to see him.
He's a good dog. We'd both love to see him again.
She's being suspiciously nice now. I think he's genuine. I think he really wants to see the dog. She's acting like, I'm not bringing Scratch right now. She gives shady energy, and she seems really mean. Like, she's like, Gomwick kept him on a, should have kept him on a tighter leash. Like, Scratch loved Gomwick, and he was really loyal to him. So Gomwick was clearly kind to him. I don't think he's going to get the same kind of treatment from this woman. So I don't know if we should bring him back or not. What happens if we say, I'd actually like to buy a dog?
They're not for sale. These are courier dogs, trained to follow orders, read maps, and protect their deliveries with their lives. They're worth more than their weight in gold.
Like, fair enough, I get that they're like working dogs. I can respect that, but I don't know, she seems really mean. Can I trade with her? What's she got? Nothing I want, okay. Okay, well, I'll go and see if I can find Scratch then. Bye! Leaves quickly. Yeah, let's just go out this way. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't seem nice. I don't want to leave Scratch with her. Astarion, then. Do you want to just kind of...
Tread carefully.
Just have a look around, you know? Give me guidance, like me, the player. I feel like he won't be able to see me here. Okay. Okay. Snatch. Okay. He didn't notice. Stand up again. And let's leave quickly before he notices. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Go. Out. Okay, we're good. We're out. Where's Kitty? Where's Uz? Why is Uz all the way back here? Why isn't he with me? Why didn't you leave with me? Okay, anyway, let's have a look at what this note says. I'm going to send it over to Cordia because I want my player to read it.
Where am I? What's going on?
Urgent report for Duke Ravengard. Priority entry. So this might help us get into the city. I opened it, but I didn't read it. Grand Duke Ravengard's eyes only. After who's this from? Scout Manip Nashkellen. After marching west from Moonrise Towers, the Absolute forces took Enger Veld and then split into two wings. One wing, consisting mainly of bugbears and human mercenaries and brigands, has remained north of the Chionthar and is travelling west on Skulldusk Road, threatening Tempest's Tears, which by the time you read this has probably already fallen. The second wing, mostly goblins of the Seven Tribes, bolstered by hobgoblins, crossed to the southern bank of the river and is marching west past Sunrise Spire, ultimately threatening Rivington and Worms Crossing. So this is what we need to be worried about. Goblins and hobgoblins. Most wings are commanded by cadres of renegade drow officers like Minthara, easily identifiable during daylight hours by their broad-brimmed shade hats. There are notably fewer of these officers in the ramshackle southern wing, and I think the goblins would be vulnerable to ambush in the fields south of Rivington. Okay, so it's interesting that this hasn't been delivered, right? Maybe if we can find Duke Ravengard and kind of like get him under the protection that we have against the tadpole, like we can do something about that, because I feel like Gortash would have no intentions of doing anything about that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that letter went missing conveniently, you know. Hello. They're trying to get inside.
That was before I saw the giant metal monsters guarding the checkpoint.
Oh, he's scared of the steel watch.
Caught sneaking in. A few days in a jail cell. At least we'd have a bed.
Worst that can happen is one of those steel watchers stamping us into the dirt.
Oh.
And the gods don't. You're such a scaredy cat.
Getting into the prison's not a bad idea. It might steal that plan.
I'm not scared of the authorities. But it would be stupid to pick a fight with the fist. Right?
Yes, you should keep safe.
Why don't you take your complaints to them? Ever wanted to meet the most cowardly dragonborn in the realms? I fell for the blockhead.
That's so cute. I like these two. They're cute together. Okay, right. Back to following this blood then. This trail of blood that's leading up this way. Oh, more here? I wonder if anyone's seen anything. There's more there as well.
Can't talk just now, sorry.
Okay.
Let me have a little peace and quiet, won't you?
What's their deal? Do they chat if I move away? Oh, oh! Oh no, another earthquake. That is definitely not good. Okay, there's a treasure chest here, so I'm gonna like guidance myself and see if I can find it. I'm trying to keep an eye on these two as well, see if they talk.
What's that?
I don't know if they're doing some kind of like shady deal or something. Okay, nice. We got some stuff. So we're coming up basically around the back. So the camp's down here, the refugee camp where we found like the suspicious toys. And then we actually came up this way ourselves to like the Gur camp and things like that. So we're kind of coming full circle now and we can continue following this blood. Sometimes there's a cat here, but you can't talk to them. Did you hear shouting? Okay, Karlak's like, somebody needs my help. Hang on, why is Astarion not with us? Astarion! Oh no. Oh no, he's coming, he's coming. He's here. I'll just give him a minute to get up here. Here we go, he's coming up the steps. We should see him running to us. Okay, the sense of urgency is gone, but when she heard that shouting, we're not lockpicking this door. Karlak is like, somebody needs our help. Smash it down. She just one hit the door. 44! This is what I'm talking about, like, doing a lot of damage. That was one swing and she did 44 hit points worth of damage. Okay, so let's go see what's happening in here. I kind of want to save just in case. Oh, it auto-saved. I'm fine. Okay, and let's go down this trapdoor and see. See who's shouting, see who needs help. Uh-oh. Do you see what I see? Mind Flayer, brain starved and sleeping. The creature's ability scores are reduced by 10. So look at this. Their ability scores, they suck, so they should be quite easy to kill.
Before you lies the unconscious body of a Mind Flayer, glistening and raw.
A newborn. Unattended. How fortunate.
Right, so as a recap, excuse me, Cordy is really quite mad at the Emperor and doesn't trust him because he pretended to be a Listery, which she thinks is like really manipulative and like a horrible thing to do. She thought she was working for a goddess. So, and she's a very, very empathetic person. So right now she's got like basically a vulnerable newborn creature. And she's like, everybody told me the Githyanki were mean. And then like, look at what a big softie Lae'zel is. Like, just because some of the Mind Flayers are bad doesn't mean they all are. And maybe, you know, with this one being newborn, maybe we could offer it protection. Maybe it could like infiltrate the cult for us. So she's thinking very much like, she's just being a big softie basically. So she's going to say, he said, a newborn unattended, how fortunate. And she's going to say, well, it doesn't feel very fortunate.
Oh, but it is. This one has only just transformed. It is weak, vulnerable. Its potential ripe for harvesting. Go on, kill it. Absorb its power.
So again, she doesn't trust it. This seems really mean. And she's like, you're one of these things and you're telling me to kill it? Like, her instincts say that she should give it a chance. So she's gonna wake it and try and talk to it, which is a stupid idea, but It's okay, I won't hurt you. I'm a friend.
Come no closer, you. You. What are you? What am I sensing? You are like me. Like I was. A vessel yet to transform. Help me. I am so hungry.
Yeah, so he sees Cordia as the vessel for the tadpole that he has a connection with. Was it you that I heard screaming when I entered the windmill?
My vessel. He fought the transformation. He found it excoriating. I can still taste his terror. It is delicious, but will not sustain me. We need to feed. We need a brain fresh and frantic to restore our strength.
Okay, that's disturbing. She's going to be thinking, well, okay, well, the Emperor's one of these things, and he's kind of helping us, and he said that he eats, like, criminals and things like that, so just because he has this need, and, like, Astarion's a vampire, he's, like, with us right now, and she's like, well, just because he needs to feed on people doesn't mean that he doesn't have a choice on who he feeds on, and, like, you know, a lion needs to eat to survive. It's just the nature of the creature. So, like, maybe this is something we can work around is what she's thinking right now. It says we can offer him the body we're carrying, but I tested this and it takes quill, and I don't want to feed him quill. If I do go and get another body, I can feed him the body that's in my inventory. So, she's just going to say, I'll see what I can do.
I shall be here, waiting for your return.
Curtail your sympathy. We wish to destroy the Elder Brain, not nourish its thoughts.
Okay, so... yeah, Cordia's not so sure about this. She's going to go out looking for... I'm sure there's some corpses around here somewhere that we can feed him with. But she's like, yes, you stay here. Don't go upstairs. There's so many people around. You'd be killed on sight. So many flaming fists. It really wouldn't be the good move. You wait here where you're safe. And she's thinking, Karlach, I really wish he hadn't broke that door down because I would have liked to have locked him in. But... there's a haystack here we can... There's nothing super good in it, but let's see if I can pass this check.
This was a wonderful
No,
idea.
she failed. Okay, let's go through the list, see if anyone can find this. Failed. I'm not too bothered if we don't do it. Investigation failed. Astarion, give this a try. No. Basically, I think it's just like one arrow, so it's not too big a loss if we don't do it. There's some people picnicking here. Let's see if we can convince them to, like, move on. That this isn't a safe spot for them. Oh, where did I go? She's here, she's here. Hello.
Fine day for it, eh? Got to enjoy things while they last, I suppose.
Yes, about that. There's some really, really beautiful views just down towards the beach. You might want to go and check out there where it's safe.
You couldn't give us a bit of space, could you? We don't get much time alone together.
Well, you won't have much time at all if the mind flayer eats you. I don't want to make you panic,
Fresh
but...
in your drink, perhaps?
Can I help you? This is a private picnic.
Yeah, can you, like, move?
Please, we're not looking for a third wheel. Not today, at least.
Also, how rude of them, because they've kind of, like, squashed the crops to put their little picnic blanket out. I don't know, maybe that space was already there. Maybe that was, like, a prime picnic spot. So this is the Gur camp. We've already been there. Let's keep going this way. This is kind of where we ended up, where we were kind of, like, looking at the views of Worms Rock. So let's keep moving along. See where we end up. Hello.
Quite a spot, eh? Knocks the breath out of me to get up here. But the views are worth it.
I'm gonna click on him again.
I used to be scared of the windmill when I was a nipper. Thought it was like A big giant flailing its arms at me.
Yes, it is very, it does seem quite scary, and you know, you're out of breath. Maybe you should go back down and, you know, visit the circus and do something different than what you're currently doing. Okay, so we've got more kind of like dead chickens and things like that. Again, people are just hungry and desperate and just taking whatever they can. There's a little book here, Reflections of a Gullible Prick. The stained tome records a long and arduous journey. I hoofed it to Baldur's Gate based on a God's damned promise. They'll welcome you with open arms, my cousin said. Everyone has a home in the gate. 17 days I marched, 17 days of their whining toddlers and their piss reek. 17 days of howling wolves, huddling around sickly fires, and still that stench. Of course they didn't let us through to the city when we showed up. Shoved us into a camp teeming with snivellers and snarers. Had it with them, their sob stories, the entire gall of their presence. If I've got to be stuck outside the city, I'll make a home in a chicken coop. Smells better than those poop-stained whelps they called my cousins, at least. The text continues in a similarly aggrieved fashion. So he's just sick. He's just sick of the situation. Is there actually someone in here? I guess not. Yeah, he's just sick of being on the road and things like that. So maybe some kind of bard. I'm not going to take his stuff. Let's keep going down here. Where do I want to go? So we've come back around. This is basically the back of the post office now. And I kind of want to go down this way. I'm going to say Cuddy is just having a look at the views for a second, right? And also considering, like, again, can we, like, sneak into the city on this scaffolding? So she's just kind of doing a little bit of a recce.
Footprints. Deep gnome footprints.
Deep gnome footprints leading to this cave. Now I ignored this with Dirge on purpose because Cordia has more history with the deep gnomes. So you might remember Thulla, who lost her boots when she was kind of like escaping from the Grimforge, and all the deep gnomes who were being forced to kind of dig out near. And we kind of made friends with them. There was also like Philomene, who was going to explode the smoke powder, and we kind of like talked her down. They're kind of like revolutionaries. And then we met Barkus Rue and Wolbrin Bongle, and, you know, explored their friendship and, you know, what was going on with those two. So this is, we've tracked them down basically, and we know that they had big plans for Baldur's Gate and they had rune powder. So definitely want to keep an eye on what the plan is with these guys. Okay, so here we go.
I'll take that.
I didn't find these on my first playthrough. I only found them on my second playthrough. I had no idea they were here.
The boss is expecting you. Hasn't forgotten what you did for him at Moonrise.
Yeah, because we got him out of the Wolbrin Bungle, that's his name, isn't it? We got him out of the prisons under Moonrise. So I don't think we know her. I don't recall meeting her before. Hoagie Nunners. We've also got Dulber's friend.
Look, unless you're an expert in steel watcher gyroscopics, please get out of my light.
Okay, I'm sorry. This guy as well, I don't think we know him. Bump Nagel.
You think I want my clan facing down one of those walking death machines with cutlery? Then leave me to my work.
So we haven't actually seen the Steel Watch yet, so we're just getting these reports of like these scary metal monsters. I will, but we're shopping today. Do you have anything to trade?
Only if you're quick.
Okay, so there are a few things that I want to get off this guy. We've got the Martial Exertion gloves, and it says it makes you push past your physical limits. You take damage, but you gain an additional attack and double your movement speed this turn. So I don't know if I will or will not end up using these or who I'm going to use them for, but that could come in very, very handy, glove pun, at some point. We don't need these because we don't play with a gnome. We've got a gnome in our camp, right? Or are they like a halfling, you know, the little wizard? But I don't think we're going to need those. And these as well, they give Thunderwave, unarmed strikes deal extra damage. We don't have an actual like straightforward monk class, so I don't feel like we're going to use those. So I'm going to leave those there. The Arrow of Dragon Slaying we could definitely do with. I think I'll take those. And then I'm going to take these 2 smoke powder arrows as well. And then maybe this as well. It says Flashbinder, blind a target. If it's a steel watch, it's stunned and suffers a 1d6 penalty to attack roll. So I think I'm going to take one of those just in case we need it. Is there anything else I want off this guy? No, I think we're good. And again, this is so much money. So I'm going to have to dip into Dirge's pockets now to pay for this. But he's going to get the benefits of the things I'm buying as well. So they are dragon slaying arrows, aren't they? There might be a reason why I'm picking up dragon slaying arrows. It's a bit of foreshadowing. Thank you. Okay, I've got what I wanted.
Now let me get back to it.
Okay, thank you. Here's Nichols. Now, Nichols was one of the people that we rescued from underneath Moonrise, and he was the really nervous one, and then he kind of came back to Last Light In with us.
It stopped, but it'll happen again. It keeps happening. The shivering, shaking, quaking. Don't you feel it?
I do feel it, yes. It keeps happening. What is it?
There's something underneath the city. Inside the rock. But when I ask the stone why it shakes, it only screams. I want to go home.
So the big, massive Elder Brain is probably... We know that it came to the city. It's probably worming its way in under the city, like it did underneath Moonrise, because it's like the same situation. Okay, there's someone else hanging around here, but where have they gone? Aha! Philomene! This is the one that tried to blow us up.
Huh? You look different when you're not trying to talk someone down from igniting a barrel of rune powder. Chuck your questions at Wulbrun. That's his job. I can make time for chatter after you know what's what.
Okay, Wulbrun. Yes, looking forward to speaking to him again. Okay, in here we have these rune powder barrels. So this is the thing that Philomene was threatening to explode. And do you remember, like, the recipe for this had been lost, and Wulbrun was the only one who knew how to make it, which was why it was so important to rescue him in the first place. So look here, rune powder barrel, 50 to 120 damage. That is massive. So this is kind of like, this could really, really come in useful for fighting like more difficult battles. Automatically critically hits objects and environments. So I would love one of these, but unfortunately they are red. I can't just take one. And I don't want to anger the gnomes, but it's good to know that they're here in case we want to come back for them later. So Thuller's the one who lost her boots, who was injured because she'd escaped from the forge, and she was hanging out around with like the big mushrooms who were like taking care of her.
Need to get... You're here. Good luck. This damn city's more treacherous than the Underdark.
I'm glad to see you're looking so well, Thuller. You seem to have made a full recovery. Okay, Nichols is here. We spoke to him. In here, this is where we're going to find Barkus and Wulbrun. Let me have a quick look what's around. No cause for alarm. I don't want to take anything. I keep accidentally getting into fights in here because it kind of looks like you can take stuff and then you can't. Don't take anything in this room. An illustration of a burning city introduces this book's frenzied summary of Elturgard's recent history. So this is talking about when Elturgard fell into the Hells, and this is where a lot of the tieflings came from, who we found originally in the Druid's Grove. So you can have a read of that if you want more of Elturel's history from a certain perspective. It's kind of like the reaction to what happened. I think we've read this one before, so I'll let you kind of read that yourselves if you want to. It does say 2 months prior he'd taken to call himself by the name Saravok. So 1 month ago he spoke of little else but the throne for which he is destined. This is actually about a previous Valspawn, so similar to what's happening with Dirge. So I'll let you kind of like pause and read that if you're interested in that. Unspecified neurotic enthrallment. So they were trying to like fix him. Okay. Barkus has a little book here. Writings of a Root. Let's look over his shoulder and see what he's writing. A journal written by Barkus Root, worried about his friend Wulbrun's violent desire to bring down the Gondian gnomes. His plan to blow up the Steel Watch factory is horrendous to contemplate. There must be a way to avoid causing so many deaths. So yeah, a little bit worried about what this plan is. And this point, look at the owlbear. No, why? Owlbears are friends, not food. Barkus, Barkus.
Ah, there you are. Good. We need to strategize. Wulbrun is planning something. Lots of moving parts. I'm still trying to suss the details myself.
You look worried.
I am. I knew him rash, but this is unspeakable. Speak to him. Help him see sense. Someone has to.
Okay, I'll try. No promises. So again, you can look at this, but don't take anything out of it. Be careful to read it. On weapon coatings, I think this just kind of unlocks alchemy stuff if you haven't already unlocked it, like drow poison. So yeah, I must have already got those recipes, so it hasn't done anything for me, but sometimes it does unlock. So yeah, I can't read any of these things that are lying around here. Let's just talk to Wulbrun.
Good to see you. Wasn't sure you'd make it to the city. Regretting it yet? I spent a lot of time thinking of worst-case scenarios while I was locked in that cell you plucked me out of at Moonrise. I didn't imagine anything as bad as this. The Gondians have handed Enver Gortash the means to bring about the end of liberty in Baldur's Gate. And the citizens have rolled out the red carpet for the new tyrant. Resistance fighters are few and far between. My iron hands, what's left of the Harpers, and you. I hope.
He's very friendly to us all of a sudden. He was really dismissive when we first met him. But now that he thinks that we're allies to his cause, like he's all smiles and waves. So I think we do align in principle with the resistance fighters of Baldur's Gate because, you know, we know the plan of like Gortash and the Absolute, and it's not a good one. So we know the city is in the wrong hands with the ruling elite, and we've seen the propaganda and the mistreatment of people and the fear-mongering and all the horrible stuff that they're doing. So yeah, we do align more with the resistance fighters, but we don't know the situation entirely, and I think rather than just jumping on board with this rather extreme plan, I think we need to kind of step a bit more lightly and figure out what's going on before we agree to anything. So that's my plan here. I'm not just gonna be like, I'm with you, viva la resistance. It's not his fight, it is our fight. Karlach's with us, so I like this option. Gortash is a dead man. We have our own reasons for taking him down.
As long as our objective is the same, the reason doesn't matter to me. We have a common enemy.
Indeed.
But neither of us gets what we want until we deal with our biggest obstacle.
Okay.
The Steel Watch. They're a threat to you, me, and every man, woman, and child in this city.
Right.
They act all civilized, servants of the people, but they only serve one man. When he becomes Grand Duke, it will only get worse. Laws will change, freedoms will vanish, and soon you'll be accused and sentenced before you've even committed a crime.
Okay.
And the fucking Gondians are to blame for all of it.
Like, I get it, right? In this day and age, in 2025, when it feels like the people in power perhaps are ruining the world, I have been Wulbrun in this moment, right? And I know a lot of people really hate Wulbrun, but I absolutely see where he's coming from. The frustration and the feeling of like, we have to do something. And, you know, the anger at how unfair things are. I have had rants like Wulbrun about the current state of the world. Without getting too deeply into that, because we're not here for like politics today, but, you know, art reflects life. Like, I totally see his angle. I have been that person where I've like gone on a many full-blown rants about certain things that are happening. Yeah, I actually really, the first time I saw that scene, I was actually like, he's very, very intense, but it's coming from a place of passion, of wanting to do good and protect people, and like, it's coming from anger at those who are doing harm, right? Like, it's coming from a really good place, and I think you need people like that sometimes to counteract. Sorry, my tummy's rumbling. It's that time in the video. Maybe it's time to wrap things up. But like, you need people like that sometimes to kind of counteract the evils of the world. You know, the people who are going to do something about it. And so I really came to respect Wulbren from that scene. However, let him cook. We want more information. So I'm going to say, why put the blame on the Gondians? I can't get that out.
They invented the Steel Watchers, and they're building an army of them. They've always been happy to provide their technology to despots in exchange for a stipend and the freedom to work in peace. They would have licked Saravok's boots, given the chance. And now they'll kiss Gortash's ring while this city screams. I had a plan to put a stop to them. But the way things are now, if we stick our heads above ground, the Watchers are on us like flies on shit.
Huge amount of respect and credit to the actor who plays him as well, because he's not a very well liked character, but the passion and angle he puts into that scene, I think, you know, it plays him really, really well. Tell me more about the plan.
Same as it always is. Eliminate the threat. In this case, the foundry where these atrocities are produced. The Gondians are ingenious, but we're more than equal to them. There's nothing they can build that the Iron Hands can't tear down. I've built something unique for just that purpose. A room powder bomb. First of its kind. 50 wizards high on the weave couldn't summon this kind of firepower. Right. Get the bomb inside the Gondian facility, and boom. Problem solved.
Wulbren, please. This is too far. Everyone in the foundry would be killed.
Quiet, Barkus. The adults are talking.
He ruins it. He ruins it. Like, stop being mean to Barkus. You know, I was liking you there for a second. So at this point, we haven't even seen the Steel Watch. We've only heard reports about them, and they definitely seem like, people seem scared of these things, right? Big metal monsters. So we know that this is something that's really bad that Gortash is using alongside the Flaming Fist to kind of enforce the laws. It's that thing of like, he's not wrong, right? Like, and he has a plan. At least someone's doing something. But we need more information. We need to see it through our own eyes to make a decision here. I like this one. It's going to be quite the explosion. I can't wait. So room powder is really dangerous. And even though it can do a lot of good if we use it effectively, it's also a huge risk to the population of Baldur's Gate. Having a massive bomb like that in the city just is a risk to civilians. So I just feel like he is a bit of an extremist. He is very, you know, wrapped up in his own idea of what's going on. We need perspective. We need to investigate. And knowing how the Absolute uses people, I think Cordia would say, maybe the Gondians are victims, not the oppressors?
The Gondians picked their side the minute they took orders from Gortash. If they had any courage, they'd have refused him and died like heroes, spitting in his face. Now they'll die like the dogs they are.
I mean, I can definitely understand that angle, you know, like sacrificing yourself for the greater good, but I feel like, I think, didn't Councillor Floric say that Gortash invented the Steel Watch? Maybe they think they're doing good. Maybe they think they're helping the city. Maybe they don't know what it's being used for. I need to see this for myself. My tummy's rumbling, I'm sorry. I need to see this for myself. I'll make contact with the Gondians. Maybe they'll see reason.
That's what I've been saying. There may yet be a peaceful solution.
Yes.
Fine. You want to try flapping your gums in the belly of the beast? Be my guest. But their idea of diplomacy is a steel fist shoved where the sun don't shine. So take the bomb. Just in case I'm right and you're wrong.
Yes, I like the idea of the bomb as the backup plan. We'll take it. Fine, I'll take it, but I will only use it as a last resort.
As long as you see sense, I don't care when you see it.
The foundry is in the lower city, down by the docks. Beautiful building, belching smoke into the sky day and night. Getting inside won't be easy, but when you do, place the bomb at the heart of the facility. Get yourself back to street level. The streets will be clear of watchers in no time.
Right, okay. It's a bit big for my I don't really have pockets in this dress. Karlach, you're the demolitions expert. She disapproved, which is a weird one to me, the idea that she should disapprove of that. It's like, why is she disapproving? But she is my demolitions expert, so I feel like this is a big heavy bomb. Karlach can be a giant. I feel like she should carry this. So yeah, 50 to 120 damage. Karlach. No, she'd be like, Karlach, can you get that for me? It was just on the table there, so yeah, I'm gonna also send these things over to Karlach, because she's big and strong, she's mother, and the arrow of dragon slaying to Will, for reasons that will become clear later. Okay, so on that note, Barcus, quick word. I think you were right about him.
A rune powder bomb? Huh. What the devil has he become?
Desperate to do some good in the world, I think. I don't think it's that he's a fanatic with no thought for innocent life. I think it's more, he is quite fanatical, but I understand why, right? He feels like he sees something bad happening that nobody else is doing anything about, and he's taking it upon himself to do something about it. So I can respect him for that. I don't think it's that he's disregarding innocent life. I think it's that he is, it's like, I hate the term collateral damage, but he's like, it's going to be worse if I don't stop them, right? So I think that's his logic. Not that I agree with it, but I understand the perspective. But yeah, I agree with Barcus that something feels weird here. We know how the Absolute uses people, so I think there's more to this than meets the eye.
You'll hear no argument on that score. But using rune powder on the Gondians? They are inventors, just like us. Persnickety and self-important, too. But we all have our moments. Something is wrong. Very wrong. Please, speak to them before you do anything. They deserve a chance to plead their case before being blown to pieces, don't you think?
I do. All right, I will speak to them. I like that there's a juxtaposition here where Wulbren is seeing the Gondians as the enemy, right? He's like them and us. Where Barcus is like seeing the similarities and seeing the things that we have in common. He's like, they're inventors too. We've got to respect the craft, you know. I'll speak to them.
That's all I ask. Questions first, violence later, and only if absolutely necessary.
Yes, I agree. Okay, we do have a little bit more interactions now, now that we spoke to the boss. So we can come back out here and speak to Philomene.
Now you've spoken to the big man? Good to see you. Never thought I'd meet you again, let alone fight on the same side. Glad we both made it out of Grimforge alive, and that I didn't have to use that rune powder to make a point.
You know, things got very heated there for a minute. You were quite scary. I'm glad I could diffuse the situation.
Funny. You're gonna need that sense of humour here. I overheard you're gonna be helping us fight the good fight. Knew I would have regretted blowing you up. Better get on with it then. Wulbren wouldn't have put his trust in you for nothing.
I like it. And then again, we can get more out of Fuller as well. I like this because it feels like it validates like helping them, you know, like to have a bit more of a relationship with them at this point.
Gonna help us clear those watchers from the streets?
Not that we're doing it to get anything out of it, but like I like that the game is rewarding us by extra dialogue because we formed bonds with people is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I might find another use for this awesome bomb. Well, that's the plan, but I'm not comfortable with the collateral damage though.
That bomb will save a lot more people than it kills. Trust me. I've seen what those watchers can do.
Again, I don't agree with that, but as a last resort, if it means that I don't have to blow Gale up, I will take the bomb. Okay, we can go now out this way. I just need to pull this lever. And it opens up this ladder so we can climb out. And we're back in the Rivington General, interestingly enough. So let's have a bit of a poke around to see what's going on here, because it seems to be a bit of a front for something, right? Ironhand gnomes are grievances. All know that the primal source of mechno-magical method and measurement is the Gerdal Ironhand, gnomic deity of military artifice. Militant artifice. For generations, the Ironhand clan reverently toiled in their Baldur's Gate workshops, creating intricate devices of precision and beauty. So this is the Ironhand gnomes, are the ones that were the freedom fighters, basically. Crafting in peace alongside the sweatshops of lesser artisans. My tummy's really rumbling, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to try and ignore it. Sometimes in their generosity, the Ironhands even shared methods with these others. But then did the adherents of the thief god Gond, in their hubris, found a house of wonders and arrogate to themselves the labour and credit of all mechano-magical works in Baldur's Gate. And many gnomes did join the Gondians to their shame. So they're ruled by a different god, basically. And the voice of Gerdel spoke to Wolverforce Bongal. Aww, I know a man by that name, so it must be like a relative, and said unto him, suffer not these Gondians to steal thy livelihoods. And so Wolverforce spake out against the Gondians, citing the flaws and errors in their shoddy works, rightly extolling the superiority of the creations of the Ironhands. In response, the Gondians, in their envy and choler, did utter vile slander and calumny against the Ironhands, and Wolverforce was wroth. There followed the death of Wolverforce in the unfortunate rune powder incident, and the Ironhands, with the complicity of the Flaming Fist, were driven from the city into woeful exile. So originally the Ironhands, it's like a my god's better than your god situation. So the Ironhands were originally like the best at creating military weapons for the city. And when this kind of conflict with the Gondians happened, the city took the Gondian side and drove the Ironhands out. So they have some personal wrongs that they feel like they need to right. Let's put it that way. But again, I think it's just a case of like, again, this your god's better than my god religious conflict provoking animosity is not a good thing. Like, they could work together, but they didn't. Letter from the Fulfilled Heart. Dear Master Angelion, so this is the blacksmith we met earlier. I'm exceedingly sorry to report that we are still unable to find someone who might be willing to meet with you. The men and women of this city can be so awfully picky sometimes. Might I suggest that you try submitting a portrait that presents you in a different light? So, appearances, I guess. Not that there's anything wrong with the blacksmith, but I wonder if that might be one of the prejudices that are unfortunately running into where the tastes are concerned. Of course, we won't stop you trying to arrange something for you. And as we like to say at the Fulfilled Heart, there are no lost souls, only those who have yet to find their home. Yours encouragingly, Maestro Heartstrom. So I think he's also trying to get into the city, but maybe for different reasons. And then Dearest Gildro. My darling My dearest darling Gildro, your last letter left me rather concerned. I think it's time you seek some professional counsel for your melancholy. So he's sad. Such things can't be left to brew away unchecked. You've always been a sensitive soul, and I know how heartbreak has hurt you more than you let on. But there's no shame in seeking a little aid, is there? I'm always here for you, you know that. But I'm no expert when it comes to these things, and I think you should find someone who is. I say this with all the love in the world. Please, at least think about it. Love always, Mama. So I feel like, what I feel like is happening with the blacksmith, because he's got these guys in his basement, right? I think he is Team Iron Hand, and I think his melancholy might be more than just heartbreak. I think it might also be because he can see what's happening in the city. But he's being very secretive about it. So, what's this here? His journal, let's read it. Just to get, you know, more of an idea about what kind of man he is. It's been almost 15 years since I bought the forge from old Gossoon, and in that time I thought I'd seen everything, but I was wrong. The scimitar that Rivington Rat bought in yesterday is the third weapon made of infernal iron that I've purchased in the last month. No wonder he wouldn't talk to us. Karlach was head to toe in infernal iron. The only infernal weapons I've seen since I've been here. Of course I sold them all pronto, probably getting less than I might have if I was willing to sit on them for a while, but that's something I'm not willing to do. So he got infernal iron weapons that he bought and then sold on quickly because he was like, I don't want to be associated with that. Mama Angle Iron didn't raise any fools. But still, I have to wonder, what are these diabolic weapons? Where are these diabolic weapons coming from? I was just seeing if he had anything fancy that I could take for my my lovers. Oh, another thing here. Into the Feywild, level up your life, and rune powder in the modern gnome. Okay, rune powder in the modern gnome sounds interesting. This extremely wordy treatise supposes the possibility of recreating rune powder, the mythical explosive documented in gnomish ledgers. Yeah, so he definitely is in with those gnomes. I'll let you have a read of that. I don't think we need to read it right now, but pause if you're interested. And same with these two as well. I'll just kind of like open them up. Level up your life. Again, the idea of like a self-help book if he is a little bit depressed is very, very endearing. And then Into the Feywild, which you can have a quick read if you want. Again, the mention of Gildo Angle Iron. I was just having a scan read. Okay. Okay, I think we need to go and have another word with the blacksmith. And again, this is another reason why I wanted to keep this guy alive and not have him be Orin, because Orin can take on this role depending on how you talk to people. And so I think he's such an interesting character. I think it would have been a shame if it was just Orin, you know.
Please, keep bothering me. I've no work to get on with.
I would just like to know why you're harbouring Iron Hand gnomes in your cellar.
Been poking around downstairs, have you? Well, I've got nothing to hide. Those gnomes are victims. They've spent years in exile, no forge to call their own, all because of some ancient bloody grudge. The Gondians think they're the only ones fit to swing a hammer round here. They're wrong. One day they'll learn that the hard way. Until that happens, I'll give those Iron Hands a roof over their heads. Nothing wrong with it. Now clear off. You want anything else? Go to the shop. I've got work to do.
I think he's really sweet. Like this is definitely coming slightly from his own personal grudge, because he wants to get into the city as well, and like the city's kind of like rejecting him. So he has empathy for the plight of the Iron Hands, who've also been pushed out of the city. So he's also got a bit of a grudge against the Gondians, who are taking all the work, basically, is what's happening. But then he's like, you know, like, I've got empathy for them. They got pushed out of the city. I think he's really sweet. And I like that writing as well. I think that's that's deep writing, because a lot of that I inferred through the writing. It didn't tell us directly. It left a little bit of room for reading between the lines and interpretation, which I think is very, like, is a high level of writing when they don't explain everything. I explain everything, the game doesn't. Okay, so at this point, I mean, we can get a little bit of a look at the Steel Watch possibly, because they are over here. In the next video, I think we need to go and explore the temple and find out, one, why are they rejecting people, what happened to their priest, and do they have anything that's eating pigeons on the roof. And then the episode after that, I reckon we're going to go and explore the circus. So that's my plan for the next couple of episodes, and then we'll be heading into Worm's Rock and this area here. So I want to kind of get an eye on the... I don't want to talk to them yet. Right, we're approaching cautiously. But let's go out here and just see what we're dealing with here. Because we've heard a lot of people talking about this Steel Watch and haven't necessarily... Oh! There you go. We haven't necessarily seen one for ourselves. But these things, like, look how big they are compared to the fist. Yeah, I can see why people are scared of these. This is what the Gondians have been crafting in their factory. Look at the size of that sword on its back. It looks really jittery as well. Yeah, I don't think we're ready to take on a Gondian. Not a Gondian, a Steel Watch. So this is what Gortash is using to kind of enforce his tyranny upon the city. I'm heading back to camp for the day. Calling it there. Next episode, so we'll go and see if Scratch wants to go home. Or if he wants to stay with us. So we'll go and kind of like take him back to the post office. We'll go and see if we can find out what's killing the pigeons, and we'll go and see what's going on with the Temple of Ilmater, because yeah, they're not doing everything that they could be doing for the refugees, and we want to find out why. But that's more or less it for the night, so I'm gonna go ahead and sleep. No reason to. We've not really lost any hit points. We also need to figure out what we're going to do with the Illithid up in the Mind Flayer up in the windmill. We can't just leave him there. We've got to figure out some kind of solution to that problem. So that is the plan for the future. However, somebody does want to have a quick chat. If I go over here... He doesn't? What? Wait, what? Why doesn't he want to chat with me? Normally Halcyon wants to chat with me here.
Oakfather preserve you.
Okay, I guess that is going to be something that we leave for another video then. Halcyon normally tries to raise me up right now. I don't know why that cutscene hasn't played. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's occurring there. Normally I get, yeah, he tries it on, so I'm really confused. I guess I'm just gonna go to bed then, and I guess Halcyon isn't gonna scare me with his forwardness. I hate when it auto-selects and, like, takes too much. Let me unselect everything, hang on. I wasn't expecting this. Oh no, what do I do? This is unplanned.
How did you? Oh, it's you. I must have let my mind wander. Enough for you to wander in.
Don't let your guard down.
I am drained. Ever since you killed Ketheric and took his netherstone, the Chosen's control of the brain has been brittle. It's rebelling against Orin and Gortash, fiercely. I suspected that when we took Ketheric's stone, the brain would begin to break free. Those brain quakes confirm that my suspicion was correct. I do not know what happens now when it receives their orders, and I do not dare guess.
You feel the Emperor's fear as if it were your own. An elder brain enslaved is one thing. An elder brain unleashed will be the end of everything.
Beautiful, isn't it? The mighty Prince Orpheus, contained in submissive slumber. Come. You may as well sit a while, now that you are here. Your company isn't unwelcome.
Is this because I didn't kill the guy in the windmill? Okay, what do I want to say? She's empathetic, so I think she would be like... and also concerned, right? Because if he lets his guard down, we turn into an Illithid. So let's figure out what's going on with him. You seem troubled.
An accurate summary. I have found myself distracted of late. I'm haunted by memories. They are relentless. I can think of nothing. No one else.
Oh, he did find out that Stalemane had died, right? And I think he had a bit of a thing with her. Her empathy's gonna get the better of her in this case. Like, she's gonna forget about, not entirely forget, but you know, we do know that mind flayers play on you, right? This is what he did in the first place when he pretended to be illusory. You know, the manipulative, the like emotionally, socially manipulative. And he is in our brain, he knows what we think, right? So, but she is such a soft person, she's such a kind, empathetic person, so she's gonna think Stalemane. Someone from your past?
Indeed. Duke Stalemane. Or as I knew her, Belin, when she was alive. You thought you were my first ally. Far from it. I have long sought the allyship of others. It is the only way to succeed.
I agree.
Though my relationship with Belin was different from my relationship with you.
We have a relationship? Where Cordia has been really distrustful because of his manipulation, this feeling of him opening up and talking about his feelings and his love for Stalemane, she's gonna see some hope there. She's gonna be like, maybe he's not a monster, maybe this humanity that he's showing is reassuring to her. Did you manipulate her like you manipulated me? Was it more intimate? She's just gonna say, how so?
In life, she was my business partner, back when we ran the Knights of the Shield. A difficult task for a mind flayer. Duke Stalemane trusted me, and the city trusted her. I conceived the plot, but Belin took center stage. It was she who met with the merchants, politicians, and patriarchs. It was she who negotiated deals and signed off on agreements. Her rooms played host to the most important conversations in the city. Together, we brought order to chaos. At its height, everything that happened in that city went through the shield. Through us. I could not have done any of it without her. Just as I cannot do any of this without you. But now, she is gone.
Do you need a hug? He does seem to have feelings. If I didn't know you were in Mind Flayer, I'd say you're upset. We don't want to be rude. She's a cleric. She would say, I'm sorry for your loss. This seems like jokey. Yeah, I'm sorry for you. Like, genuinely, like, I am sorry for your loss.
I appreciate your understanding. What I feel is deeper than superficial cures can reach, and not entirely unwelcome. Most people think that mind flayers are soulless husks who feel nothing. I am glad you are not most people.
Is he flirting with us? In my first playthrough, I went for a fun response here. I was trying to keep everybody happy and play them off against each other. Do I want to squeeze his hand? It looks very squishy. She would say, "Thank you for sharing that with me."
You have shown me great empathy. We are closer now. Close enough, I hope, that I can ask you to reconsider your position regarding your physical form. I know it is no easy choice for you, but we will have a far better time ridding the city of Gortash if you accept just a touch of Illithidness. Not to mention the Elden Rain itself. Our chances against it greatly improve the more Illithid we both are. Another quake. The brain is rebelling again. I need to focus. And so do you.
Okay, I'm not doing dirges today. We'll do dirges in the next episode. It's going to be a pink wig episode. Yeah, we'll see in the next episode how differently Dirge responds to that scene, because I think it's quite interesting to see how they both handle the situation, you know, and the idea that he is in everybody's heads all at once, I think is really interesting. So I'm going to leave it there with the surprise Emperor appearance. I don't know why it occurred, because like I say, I always play through off camera first to try and figure out where I want to go and like when is a good place to stop for each episode, and then like I think it's because I went a little bit further forward and we got eyes on the Steel Lodge, because it always tells me that Stalemain's dead and I don't always get that scene, so it must just be because I approached the city a bit further. I don't know. Normally it's Halsin jump scaring me. Yeah, on that note, I guess I'm leaving it there. And yeah, we'll figure out what Dirge is going to say in the next episode. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying, and I've kind of laid out my plans for the next episode anyway. We're going to go into the Temple of Ilmater and see what the deal is with that. So I know it feels like we're making really slow progress, but I love how big Act 3 is, and I love there's all these side quests and these different things to explore. Everything kind of comes full circle, everything relates to everything else, like nothing is happening in a vacuum. And so I think it's really important to explore everything that the game is showing us. I didn't do that on my first playthrough. On my first playthrough I kind of bounced around Act 3 like a ping pong ball and I missed so much stuff. So I really love where I know all the nooks and crannies are now. So come and explore Act 3 with me and we won't miss a thing. Well, we probably will, because again, like, you can't do everything in one playthrough because things counteract each other, but we'll explore so much that this game has to offer. And yeah, there's so much. We're basically toes in the waters of Act 3 currently. There's so much left to do, and yeah, things are getting a bit intense. I don't think Cody is interested in becoming an Illithid. That's not a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment down below, like, and all that good stuff. Watch out for if I do manage to figure out the whole merch thing and get my Give Me Guidance merch, if I can get that up and running. And I will see you guys again soon. Thank you for supporting the channel. I will see you soon. Have a good week. Bye, friends. Better outros.
Call me
I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
Call me